Team Liquid coming fourth last year, but that was not enough. Coming second in a lot of majors is not enough. This team wants to win another championship. They want to win another TI. And the last time they did it through the lower bracket, why not try to repeat that again? The toughest road is the most challenging one, and maybe that's the best one that they can think of to take as they want to take that Aegis once again. They need their opponents, though. A tough opponent for sure. Let's welcome TNC. TNC Predator, they made it to the upper bracket. Unfortunately, did get knocked down by Vici Gaming, but it was a close series, and he is just walking on here to face his former teammates. And this team, when he joined, the players said, you know, we stopped grinding and started learning, and it has shown. All the progress they've made this year has been a phenomenal year for TNC. It has been amazing to watch these players just evolve, and I can't wait to see them play on the big stage in a best of three. It is elimination. It's very scary. But I believe this is going to be one heck of a match, gentlemen. We are going to get to know TNC also a little bit better as Casey was able to sit down with some of the players.
Tims and Gabby with TNC Predator, welcome. And welcome to TI9.
Yeah.
How does it feel to be here?
I feel so excited to play the first TI of my life. Yeah.
What was the first TI that you remember watching?
TI3.
TI3?
After I watched TI3, I started playing Dota 2.
What about TI3 made you want to play?
Alliance, they inspired me to play Dota 2 because their play style is really good, and it feels so nice to play with them after.
And now you're playing in the same tournament as Alliance.
Yeah.
All these years later.
It feels so amazed that I made my dream here in TI, that I play with them.
How are you mentally preparing? Are you asking your teammates for advice?
No. They just helping me to improve.
We're just saying to him that there's gonna be a lot of pressure on TI because in this tournament, like, it's always changing the meta, so you need to quick adapt. So we're just telling him, just don't pressure yourself, just be patient and calm, like playing in boot camp.
How would you rate your season this past year?
I think this one is like 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10? Yeah?
It's better than last season.
What do you think makes this season better than last season?
Because we got him this season. Yeah, he helped us a lot to improve. Yeah.
I do want to ask you a little bit more about Heen because he came on as your coach in April. How has his leadership impacted the team?
His leadership is really fit us because he's like also Asian guy, so he's like a really calm guy. Then he's from like TI winning coach. Then he has a lot of experience. He teaches a lot.
Then he helped us to improve, not just as a player, but as a person as well, inside and outside the game.
Heen said something really interesting back in 2015. It was an interview with Gosu Gamers, and at that time he had not yet experienced coaching a team to win a TI. But he said that even the top teams are not unbeatable. Do you agree with that?
That's true.
That's true.
How do you think that plays into the meta of Dota and how, because we keep hearing that time and time again, that you could come in one day being the best team in all of Dota and it still doesn't make you unbeatable?
Yeah, it's true that what he said, because in this tournament, the meta and it keeps changing, and you need to adapt what do you think is good in your team.
As you look ahead to TI9, are there any teams that you are looking forward to facing or proving yourself against?
Actually, all of the teams are really good, but I wanna beat Team Liquid on the stage.
For me, I want to play against Chinese team because we want to prove ourselves that we can win against them.
Well, switching gears to where we are now with TI9, how do you think that you are as a team approaching the tournament this year versus the team approaching TI8 last year?
I think we're pretty ready right now because last year we have some problems in the boot camp, so we only have little time to practice. But this time I think we had like 3 or 4 weeks of practicing, so we have a really good idea coming to this tournament.
Good. Well, I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Is that?
That's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The torture is over.
He said it. He just wants to have a chance to beat Team Liquid on the main stage. It's like we planned it that way. And who better to also talk about Team Liquid and TNC here? Blitz, welcome to the panel. Thank you for relieving us of Directions Like's presence.
What's up? I'm so excited for this series, by the way, because
Yeah.
I worked with Heen for a full year. It was during ESL Manila. I couldn't really commit to coaching, and so Crow was like, "Let's bring in another person. Who do you know?" And I knew that Heen was okay. So here's the real truth.
Okay.
Heen,
Oh, here we go.
Heen, I'll tell this, and this is a true story. Heen said, "I want to cast," and I was like, "He's way too good. He's really well spoken. He's like a better version of me." So I was like, "I've got a better job for you." I'm not even kidding. I was like, "How about you come coach?" And because we were really close in Korea, like he was, he always encouraged effort. Like even though we like beat their ass all the time, like he was always like, "Hey, it's all good." Like even though the Korean community hates you, like, you know, we love you. So I was like, "Oh, it works out."
Thank God he's doing well. Otherwise, he would just steal our job.
Yes.
It's very
Dude, I was looking out for
thanks,
you.
bro.
I
Yeah,
looked. I was like, Lacoste is good. I was like, I was looking.
I mean,
out for
let's
you.
be honest here. Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with that statement for sure. I mean, he's got great videos. The guy's very smart. He gives a little bit to the community, not just to his team, but it's very obvious that he's got the Dota brain in there.
Yes.
Yeah, he really does. And I'm very curious. He's facing Liquid. How much of an advantage, if any, does that give him when coaching TNC to face Liquid? Like, is that something that will give him an advantage? And I know this was a while ago, so, you know, it's been a year. Does it give you anything extra?
I actually think Liquid's like the same team.
Yeah.
Like, relatively speaking. Like they,
I'm sure that there are some other people that would think differently, especially a lot of people that are a fan of a certain player whose name starts with an M that is not Miracle or Mind Control.
And
That's
ends
really
in
specific.
Atumba, man. Oh, yeah. Okay, I think I know that guy.
Wait,
He's
what?
around here.
Well, I don't understand what she was trying to go for.
I'm just having a random thought. What if he never left Liquid and he's their double agent? So he picks a tri-lane, Clinks, Bounty, Ricky for them right now.
I thought we got Slacks off the panel.
Oh.
Actually. Sorry. Yeah. I had a goal here, Lacoste. Serious stuff.
Serious stuff.
Super serious.
What do you want to talk about? That's super
Oh, wait,
serious.
is this a
Trent?
fun panel? Never mind. Never mind. You're good. I forgot. We have that draft panel for that.
It's a story panel, you know. And these
Ah.
teams have had a lot of stories, and I want to focus a little bit more on TNC because they have had some rocky results. They've had some good results in the past as well, but this time it feels like they're coming in different. They're coming in great. They come into the upper bracket, Trent, and they're looking really good. Yesterday, their series events against Vici, that was a close one.
Yeah, and I mean, this is a team that's been a constant disappointment in terms of, like,
Wow.
they're a team that get you hyped up. 100%, because you watch
true.
see Dota, like, I cast see Dota for like 2 years. Constantly. And TNC, I love these guys, right? I follow them through all kinds of open qualifiers when they're on all their different teams. These guys have been on TNC, off TNC, back to TNC, a couple different teams, and I always get so excited to watch them, and I'm like, oh, here we go. Another great tournament for my boys. And then they bomb out. And then, of course, they actually get through on the DPC, which I wasn't expecting, right near the end of the year. And then they get in the upper bracket.
Yeah, you have a good point. I never know whether to rate them highly or not. One of the hardest teams to read, whether they're going to do good in the tournament. Somehow, it always felt like their achievements are disappointing, as you mentioned, because I expected much more of them. It feels like they can get a top 3, but they can also be last.
Yeah, we know all the talent is there, Blitz. It's just seeing if they can play on the same page, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. And I think that's where you brought up Heen early on. I think that's where he probably contributes the most, and why we've seen them look dangerous. And they had an upper bracket slot. They were very close to beating that Vichy gaming squad, and I think that's where that discipline and that outer influence helps a lot. You have a coach who has a lot of experience. This guy's literally won a TI. I think he brings that sort of veteran leadership to their team too, and that's what having a coach is there for. You fill in the gaps that your team necessarily can't do without you. But I do agree with everyone's assertion because I think Gods had he had a really good way of phrasing it. He said, "This is the most underrated and overrated team."
Yes.
I really like that assertion.
I will fully agree with that as well. But I do want to say Heen, I think we give Heen too much love compared to other coaches. I mean, it's very easy to because of the way the team just like, so quickly turned around. But part of what Heen did is that not only is he just like, all right, guys, this is exactly how you're going to play your lanes. We're going to win this game. And then he just like walks away and they just play Heen Dota. He grew them all too. Like you talk about this idea of like, now we're practicing. We're not just grinding. And so all of these players have upped their own game, made themselves so much better. And now maybe they don't need Heen quite as much now as they did before. He's still there, but they're taking it upon themselves now to get these victories too.
We give coaches a lot of love. Like, I mean, Bulba, like, you know, everyone loves Bulba.
That's true. He doesn't get flamed constantly or anything.
Sure.
If EG loses, I mean, Bulba is the one taking the blame for sure.
You know,
you think anyone's ever like flamed Heen?
The funniest part about that is like when people flame Bulba for his Josh when they lose, but no one talks about him when he wins. He's just like, man, they played sick.
When they win, it's Arteezy and Sumail went off, you know?
Yeah.
When they lose, it's Bulba's draft.
I think it's also because Heen talks so much with like the community. Like like you said, he creates the videos for the community. He's obviously one of those coaches that you know he'll actually like try.
Yeah.
Whereas like a lot of coaches, they want to give up nothing.
All right.
Bulba just shows up on these random casts with a broken microphone. It's just like, yo guys, I'm watching this tournament from my room. It's so sick. Woo!
We know Heen is well spoken and he speaks up a lot. Now, on the other side, the coach that Liquid replaced Heen with is Armen, and he feels like the total opposite. If you hear him talking and you're not listening or like you're not seeing him, you're thinking you're hearing Kuro talk.
Yeah. Kuro and Armen go far back together, even to Dota 1 days. They were the only German players pretty much that were good at Dota. I'm pretty sure. Hani, you
Black?
Black?
Oh, Black. Well, Black as well. We're going to give credit to our boy Black, but seems like he's more of a shy guy and not the Poppy type of a person who says you do this or you're out. But so I think it's more of a team thing for Team Liquid. If you see them behind the scenes, they're always grouping up together, always walking as a 5-6 man squad.
Yeah, Armen right there behind the man Kuro. Because if you're talking about Heen bringing veteran leadership to TNC, Liquid doesn't need that in a coach. They got Kuroki. He's been to every single international. And that wasn't even like that was halfway his career that he went to his first one. You know, he's been doing this for over a decade. That's veteran leadership in a nutshell. Although he didn't start leading until fairly late in his career, right?
I mean, because he was a core player for like most of Dota 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he played under Puppy for a while as well, of course. And only once he left Puppy did he start coaching his own squad. And won TI, casual, you know.
No big deal.
No big deal. Says, okay, I guess I'll be the captain now, you know, if I got to.
I mean, someone who's a captain doesn't necessarily need to be like an in-game leader. We heard the teams talking about how some players are actually leading them in certain points of the game, like mid-game, early game. Someone's making the calls.
Someone is making the calls, and I'm making the call right now to get this game started. So let's get ready for the draft.
TNC Predator versus Team Liquid. Game 1.
That's right, we are here, TNC versus Liquid. I'm joined by Febby, Kyle. Clearly you're even more prepared than I am, but you know, I don't even need these notes because this is a rematch. I don't need to know what happens. TNC already beat Liquid 2-0 in the group stage. That's what got them into the upper bracket. What are we even doing here, Febby? Oh, okay.
We're talking about the draft.
We are.
We're supposed to be not biased.
Not biased, of course not. So then what are we doing here? It's TNC versus Liquid, Southeast Asia versus Europe. It's already been predetermined. Has Liquid somehow turned it around? Do they know what they're doing now?
It's not just about regions, man. This is Heen versus Kuro.
Oh.
Come on, this is...
Okay.
This is a
throwback.
Heen's too mild-mannered to say it, you know? And there's no bad blood necessarily, but this is certainly one of those matches for elimination with a little extra at play.
Okay.
And it'll be curious. Me and Febby were talking about it before the series started. We agree that if anyone's got to shift it up a bit, it's going to be Liquid.
Right.
Because TNC seems to have their number. I think their play style matches up really well against the way Liquid's been playing. and Liquid hasn't been playing very well.
No, they haven't.
Yeah, so I was kind of looking at the drafts from Liquid, and they seem to always like kind of change it up every few matches or so, because I think they're trying to figure out their own meta as well as the tournament goes on, because their resource has been kind of lackluster. Meanwhile, on TNC, yes, they did lose to VG, but I think it's because of the 10th pick Brood, which I think it actually hurt them. It wasn't actually a good Brood game, so I think the quality of the Dota that TNC has been playing, it's like tier 1. They can like take it for the Philippine boys.
Right, and something that I know Blitz had mentioned earlier when looking at Liquid is that he doesn't think that they're a middle-of-the-road kind of team. They're either going to be bottom 4 or they're going to be top 4. The question is, have they figured it out? Are they moving around in their picks because they want to find out where they're settling? Was their first BO1 where they actually defined it?
Well, can we get into the bans?
Yeah, please.
Because you were talking about this, right, Feb? You expected the Beastmaster ET would be eliminated from TNC. Because I think ET specifically, like Fog's been jumping up for joy because it's finally been realized by the scene that this hero is nuts. You'd think that, you know, with damage amp being such an incredibly important mechanic, people would realize, like, hey, this hero removes all my armor and my magic armor from range. This can't be fair. It really isn't. So that's taken out right away. Liquid.
So the pick order is kind of different. Liquid opened up Chen, and last time TNC kind of baited the Chen open, and they were able to take the Chen away from Liquid, but Liquid, this time around, they just first picked the Chen for themselves. And yeah, meanwhile, SD is still open, and it's one of the hottest heroes of the tournament, SD and ET.
But I feel like Chen's traditionally excellent against the SD, though.
Yes,
in
I
theory.
think so too.
And I feel like if I'm, well, they just do it anyway. All right, SD Mirana.
Yeah,
now,
it's not just an SD, it's an SD Mirana.
Here's the thing, though, because I know TNC is comfortable playing Mirana core. Cuckoo specifically loves these weirder offlaners. He's been, I think, the first person that really played offlane Tiny and showed everyone how it was done with the Ags and the Daedalus build. And this is a threat now because you have that role versatility. You don't know if this is the support duo or perhaps a lane. And I really like Mirana. This is something Optic used to do to us back when we played against them all the time in NA like a year and a half ago, where you would play Mirana safe. Like, wherever you thought the Chen wanted to play and pressure, you put a core Mirana there. And there's always the catapult arrow, you arrow the creeps. Like, it's very difficult for Chen to play aggressive into this hero. Or you could theoretically just have him follow the Chen around in the jungle anytime he looks to get active.
Yeah, that is true. It is a very good counter against Chen. It just one-shots the creeps, so Chen kind of have to dodge the Mirana in the laning phase.
Yeah. I like the Tide in response, though, because obviously you can cleanse the arrow off yourself. It's very hard to 100 to 0. The Shadow Demon Disrupt into arrow combo isn't as effective. And in addition, you have to assume that the SD will be used at some point to make a bunch of illusions late game. The Anchor Smash, very effective. You just limit damage.
It's one of the heroes of the tournament, too, I think. Tide has been picked quite a lot, and it has a pretty high win rate, too.
What is that win rate?
I have no idea. I'm not the stats man. You're talking to the wrong guy.
I threw away my notes. Febby, I thought you had it all prepared.
I'm sorry. You guys want to talk to the man with the white hair.
Dude, it would be so funny though if he actually just ran out from backstage, like furiously,
oh my God, that's
papers
the
flying everywhere.
music.
Yeah.
So can I guess what TNC is gonna pick here, or how I think TNC is gonna pick Sanking here. The reason is TNC always prioritizes.
They got a ban first. You're getting ahead of yourself. This is that magical part of the draft where you don't have to do anything.
Okay.
You just hang out.
No. Sand King, justify it for me. I want to hear this.
So what I was gonna talk about is TNC always picks these like team fight heroes. They have like two styles of playing. They either pick team fight with Earthshaker, Sand King, or they pick Bat Rider and play around with the vision. And right now, Mirana is most likely gonna be played by Tims. Yes, position 3 Mirana is possible, but I think like support Mirana kind of makes more sense because they picked it for the Chen. I think this Mirana is going to try to follow the Chen around. So
it's the TNC style, right?
Yeah.
Especially when you consider Liquid's comfort. It feels like Kuro certainly acts as like the brain controlling the body of his teammates. And if you slow down his game, like you can't really impact the map like you want. He traditionally likes to get like level 3, level 4, gets 2 creeps, starts summoning in allies. You can do a lot of cool plays with Tide and Chen because you have now that superior teamfight advantage, but you don't lack in mobility as you usually would with this, fat watermelon that you've got to kind of drag around to fight. Now you just TP him in and all of a sudden you can dive with authority because you're just not going to be able to challenge a Tide level 7, level 8 with Ravage active.
And I think that's going perfectly against what TNC like to do. TNC is something that originally the Raven era TNC is something that I thought was the quintessential for Protect one. You know, you just leave, you just gotta enable Raven, and then all of a sudden TNC will find a victory somehow. But this era of TNC, it's like they get 4 cores at the end of every single game. So if you just rush them early with something like a Chen Tidehunter, they may not even get the chance.
Kunkka's great here as well. It's one of those hard counters to Chen because you not only offer excellent wave clear, but early game, when Chen looks to get aggressive around objectives, you have some of the best team fight in Dota with the boat early.
So do you think that Tide is as cooldown dependent as he once used to be, Febby? Because I know a lot of people back in the day, they're like, oh, Ravage, you gotta play around Ravage all the time. These days, it seems he just soaks up all the aggression from the enemy team. You just need Anchor Smash and just walk around all the time.
Yeah, exactly. When your ulti is up, you can play aggressive. When your ulti is down, you can just play defensive by your tower, and you're just this fat Tide who's like pretty hard to kill because of the Kraken Shower. So.
And now he's got a Tusk on his team, another form of save. So between Hand of God and the Snowball, it's going to be hard to take down these tanky targets.
I was thinking it was going to be either Earth Spirit or Tusk, because look at how they play with the Chen is this Chen will always like walk around and bring over GH, whatever he's playing, Tusk or Earth Spirit.
Tusk is better here just because, one, you have the synergy with the Chen, you can snowball creeps, you have the tag team for amp damage, and in addition, when you're playing against heroes like Kunkka, like Mirana, you have a lot of like incoming damage that's very easy to foresee. You know, an X into a boat. Now a snowball, all of a sudden, you turn a fight around immediately. Earth Spirit's nice, but it's effectively all aggressive, and you don't have that save mechanic. I think it's really good here.
Right now, it seems like Liquid Draft is more versatile in terms of like, playing aggressive and playing defensive. There's 2 saves from Chen and Tusker.
But TNC's lineup is just, it's them to a T. It's pure aggression. Every hero with some sort of stun, some with multiples, and you get ahead, it's so easy to take over the map just because you have the free smokes from the Mirana, and you can just continuously play aggressive the entire game.
For me, Wraith King is a bit of a question mark because his laning against like these aggressive heroes is not good, and against Tide too. Tide is usually pretty good against Wraith King because it just one-shots the Wraith King skeletons. So it's a bit of a question mark pick. I haven't seen TNC play a lot of it either. So it is a pretty good carry hero though.
So what are you thinking for Liquid then?
Pardon? What did you say?
What do you think for Liquid?
Ember looks okay if it's not. Yeah, it's not banned, right?
So
Ember
what are you looking for in that more general sense? So you're saying Ember because what, you want like a very mobile mid game oriented mid, something that moves around a lot?
Because I was thinking like Liquid, I was kind of casting their games here and there, and they look really solid when Miracle makes like when Miracle is on those like space making heroes like Ember, Les, Gyro, you know, those heroes that don't need items and can still fight early on.
Which is something that a lot of people were thinking was going to be the opposite direction whenever Weehaw was brought onto the team. They thought that, oh, okay, Miracle, he wants to be an even greedier one than ever before, and Weehaw's going to be the space creator. But the way that they've been playing TI so far does go in favor of what you're saying.
It's almost counter to what Kuro said himself during that massage interview.
Yes, exactly.
Casey, where he's like, yeah, I wanted a pure mid player. But then Weehaw, you know, he plays this BO1 elimination on a Necro, and we all kind of scratch our heads a little bit, and it just kind of goes to show as well like how complex Dota is. It's tough to understand, you know. There's player comfort, there's team comfort, there's just overall draft synergies that maybe people think are like ahead in power level. You never really know.
I think if you compare this version of Liquid to the last version it was like a pure 4+1. Miracle will farm everything. But this version, I feel, is Miracle and Weehaw shares the farm a little bit.
Yes, that's for sure the case. And they're going to go with
one of
Templar Assassin.
Yeah, one of Weehaw's signature heroes on this team, right? It's TA or Windringer, and they go for TA.
Probably should have seen it coming, right? It's not...
I mean, it's into a Kunkka, though.
It is, but I like it a lot against Wraith King. It's like a lower armor hero.
For sure.
And in addition, SD Mirana, like even if you set up the arrow combo, it's pretty much just going to be handled by refraction. I do agree that Kunkka, you know, the Torrent does take off every single charge.
Exactly.
However, the lane matchup, especially if Weehaw gets a little bit of help from this roaming Tusk Chen, you can get ahead and start dominating the lane.
I don't remember which game it was, but I really like this Liquid approach to the Wraith King. they know that Wraith King, he needs Midas, he needs Radiance. It's gonna be online pretty slow. Meanwhile, look at Liquid. They have Chen, they have Tide, they have T8. Like their heroes can snowball really hard. From 15 to 20 minutes, they're gonna choke out TNC's map so hard.
But it requires, I think, a higher degree of execution. You don't have the luxury of making mistakes as Liquid because you're based around this time. TA, sure, you can get ahead, stay ahead, crush through a game, but it's a lot like a QoP. You die a couple times, you end up even in net worth against a hero like Wraith King or Kunkka, and you just don't have nearly the same amount of game impact.
So then one thing that I immediately think of every single time I see a Templar Assassin, and I want both of your thoughts. First, Febby, why do you ever prefer a Blink Dagger first versus a Desolator first on a TA? What context do you go for which item?
I think it depends on how good your game is, and it depends on your cores too. Because if your cores are backline killers, then you don't have to be the one that's blinking in. You can just go Desolator, BKB without blink and just play in the front line and take all the towers down, take all the Roches down. And I don't know. I think it depends on the game.
So then, Kyle, do you think Weeha is a more greedy Templar Assassin? You think he's going to be stacking those Ancients, just rushing that Desolator, and he's going to be like, yo, give me the early Roche, even though they are dire, which does slightly complicate things, and they're actually going to wrap it up with the Troll Warlord.
Yeah, it's one of the vintage Miracle picks. I'm not quite sure. It really depends on how his game starts. I think Deso, it depends on how aggressive they want to play. I think more importantly, how many towers they've taken out. Because you can kill a couple towers early. I actually think Blink almost works as a tool to accelerate faster.
You got a Chet on your team.
Now you can play enemy jungle, you can abuse traps, like you have a lot more freedom to play the map. Deso first is usually for more of that static game where once you pick it up, then you start to look for objectives. Because of the Chen, you could perhaps see that coming. You never know, because Kuro could also play, if he has this Mirana following him around the map and he has a slower start, maybe he has to play his own woods more, maybe he's stacking Ancients.
Oh,
and God, that is such
bad
a
rider. Templar Assassin, what the hell are you gonna do now?
Troll too, man. This is one of those dream picks. You pop your ultimate on Troll and then just get lassoed, dragged up to a high ground or something. There's not really much you can do.
Yeah, it's a dream Bat Rider game, and I think Cuckoo's, that's like top 3 heroes for Cuckoo. Sand King, Bat Rider, and +1 that I can't really seem to remember.
It just feels like it's TNC's comfort, right? If Liquid make a mistake or two, they're just gonna get run over, and you're gonna get to this point where all of TNC's heroes are just too tanky for these more burst carry type styles of the Liquid lineup.
The combo potential is extremely high from this TNC draft, but I've got a combo that's even better. Let me pass it on over to Odie Pixel and Fogged.
Thank you very much, Tsunami. TNC versus Liquid. What a brilliant way to end day 2 here at the TI9 at main stage. Both of these teams, I mean, what can we expect? TNC, they've come in with a lot of big surprises in sort of the group stage in terms of how they've been able to just break down teams in some phenomenally long games, some 60, 70-minute matches. And Liquid have been sort of up and down. They've had some series themselves where I think coming into the event, a lot of people would have expected them to sort of just roll over their opponents in, but they haven't. They've been tripped up. Now here on the main stage against TNC, it's not going to be easy for Liquid. There's every reason to believe that TNC could take this series.
Absolutely. I mean, looking at their draft too, I feel like every time TNC somehow is able to get Cuckoo on one of his best heroes, he seems to always be getting his bat.
How does he get a big bat?
Right? It seems like so many times we cast them, we're like, Cuckoo, he's always super dominant on these 2 heroes, and he always does seem to get it. So we'll see how they're going to be able to make use of it versus that one, because like the panel mentioned, this Templar Assassin, this Troll Warlord, there are some significant counters that TNC has drafted.
Exactly. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen, as we get ourselves into the action of this best of 3. TNC versus Liquid. The loser is going home, so they better play their best if they want to have a chance of sticking around here at the International. And
ooh, this is an interesting, so we're going to see some tri-lane action, it looks like, by Liquid, as they're bringing the Chen in the bottom lane, starting with a Headdress.
A Headdress level, look at that.
Headdress level 1 to get that bonus HP regen.
Changing the meta.
So let's see. Look at all the heroes of Liquid when they are going to be in this tri-lane. 7.1 health regen per second in an aggro tri-lane. Have to imagine they'll get a Bassi on someone very early too. So this can be a pretty strong one. They really want to ensure that Miracle just is able to farm either versus the Bat Rider or just pull him away from the Bat. So that's probably what they're going to be doing. Even with that Divine Favor, they can dodge lanes, as we've seen teams do quite a lot. Curious to see TNC, as we've seen them playing a lot, they really like their Chen as well. right?
They
so
do.
this one was
Or they do
Liquid
AU
kind of
Chen.
stealing it, right? AU really
Chen.
likes his Chen, so...
It's been first pick so many times.
Yep, you have to imagine that they have a really good idea about how to play around this hero. So we're going to see how they can execute versus Liquids, as Liquid, they've played this combo a lot. They like their Chen Tusk so much as they're able to get really active on the map early on, bring GH all over the place for free with that Divine Favor as well, and make aggressive plays.
Yeah, we're seeing sort of across the draft, right? A lot of heroes that we're seeing time and time again here at TI, but I'd say probably the rarest out of the bunch is the Troll on the Tusk.
Yes.
Compared to all the other heroes, like, all the other 8 heroes, I feel like we've lost count of the times that we've seen teams playing.
Absolutely.
And that could bode well, very well for TNC, with a very familiar lineup that they are playing with.
And a strong lineup of disables. Like Kyle mentioned, you look at the lineup of Liquid, they're kind of limited on their disables. They have Ravage and then they have Tusk. And that's kind of, you know, their way of controlling the team fights. You look at the side of TNC, they've got Kunkka, Wraith King, Mirana. They even have Shadow Demon, who I feel like is kind of his own stun anyway now because of how amazing this hero really is. With a 61 pick rate and 60-something% win rate, this hero is insane in this tournament. And it is also a unit of TNC. They're actually running their own aggro tri-lane, and they're putting the Bat Rider in the safe lane, making sure that Kuku can actually get something instead of just getting shut down completely if he was left alone or in a dual lane. They want to be sure to try to give Kuku a good game. We'll see how this mid matchup ends up going, as, like Panel said, Torrent, really good spell versus Templar Assassin.
You've got to imagine the Kunkka's going to have the edge, right?
That's what you would imagine, yeah. TA should be able to farm once you get your levels just fine, but...
Yeah, you're always going to come back as a TA, right? Like we may see in the lane Armel get the CS advantage, but he's going to be able to find the means to catch back up with the jungle.
Yep. As long as, that's the one thing that I look at, I'm like, they have to make sure that Miracle doesn't have to get resorted to go to the jungle, right? I think that's why they're trying to secure him so much, is because they have a TA on their team. If you have a point where the TA is going to the jungle, your Troll Warlord's going to the jungle, and then you're playing an aggressive lineup with a Tidehunter, a Tusk, and the Chen moving on the map making plays, you're going to be extremely limited.
And they do rely on, of course, having the TA and the Trolls. You know, at least one of them getting one of those early items, whether it be the Deso or for the TA or for Miracle. We'll see what his build is going to be. Whether he
Could be a
get the defusal.
Yeah, a possibility versus that Wraith King, of course.
Yeah, certainly should be expected.
Yeah.
And they'll need it to make those fights happen. As you say, they're already just reliant on the Tide and the Tusk to really get things started. They've got to make sure that they have actually someone behind that sort of play to do the damage, because unlike TNCs, they don't have that crazy amount of wham-bam magical burst and you're dead.
They might have to swap the lanes here. I think Kuroki might want to Divine Favor the Troll Warlord up top pretty soon, as the lanes are starting to get switched up, and now is where you're putting a Troll versus the Bat Rider. Sure, Miracle, he's still free farming really well right now, but we know how this matchup can go. You just get a couple stacks on yourself, and you just get chased by that Bat Rider, and you do not like playing versus that as a Troll.
For now, GH trying to do his best to punch him away.
They got the side pull off, though. Tims is able to get that one there as the Mirana here.
Getting good control of that bottom lane. Kuku wants also try and hope to have a bit of a look into the CSs at the moment. He is struggling to find many of the old creeps. The same is to be said for Mind Control. It's a slow start in creep score at least, but they are both getting good experience.
Both of them were pressured really hard. The Courier, Tims, they brought the Courier bottom. It was still walking. He just leaps forward and kills it.
Oh, if only they waited a few more seconds. It was just about to be upgraded mid lane.
Armel, almost, guys, the side blades there.
Is able to X-mark Weeha to make sure he cannot dive him. But that's it, yeah, the Courier down. That's, well, that's someone's Wraith Band hitting the deck.
That's Weeha's regen. Also, he has one Tango. He still has a couple Mangoes, of course, for that too, but he could be a little bit troublesome here, as they won't be able to bring anything else out to him for quite a while.
Is able to keep the CS pretty even between him and Armel. As we'll see the matchup transcend with Kunkka and TA, 90 for 4, 90 for 3. Very even between these two mid laners. Of course, just both heroes very good at getting the right clicks, whether it be with that hard hitting base damage of the Kunkka or the refraction of the TA.
Yeah, we are catching back up pretty quickly there. So they are starting to recover both of those heroes that were aggro tri-laned at first, now able to start getting something, as Michael Joe's even getting aggressive onto Gabby here with that Mud Golem from Kuro. And like Panel mentioned, you know, the Tidehunter laning versus the Wraith King, it's pretty good. You're always going to be able to go for those anchor smashes onto the skeletons, and look, that's what we were talking about.
This bottom lane, you said they needed to get out of there. They didn't.
I feel like they should have
stuck
actually...
around, and I mean, you foresaw this. You said this bottom lane once the level's there on Pat, he's just going to run them over.
Yeah,
and he does.
He comes back down bottom, too. I mean, they have the Divine Favor from KuroKy, like I was mentioning, to bring him up there. But, yeah, they're just choosing to actually keep this matchup. It's going to be really crippling for Miracle, though. You have to expect that's going to happen. Every single time there's a rotation from Tims, they can easily set up onto this Troll Warlord. But they're keeping it this way. They want it. That's why they want to lane it. They want to keep the tide versus that Wraith King.
That lane in itself is still a bit of a scary one for Mind Control as well on the top.
Yeah.
Has to be careful getting down low, just down to the Mango and obviously a stick, but sitting very low on the HP. In fact, there's the TP. He's going to head over to the Shrine.
Looks like they're actually going to bring the Chen bottom instead of moving the Troll Warlord, so it's still just trying to secure that Miracle's down here instead. So the arrow on the creep. Cuckoo, he's got Firefly, gonna get slowed up here.
Should be... I'll say that the Mud Golem stun's coming in, causing some issues. He'll pop the stick charge, snowball across from GHGH. He's trying to kill, but he's burning. The Firefly's killing him, bringing him low. Tims jumps in, he'll be able to finish it off. Cuckoo's fine. And TNC getting a third kill down on the bottom lane. It's 5 minutes in there at a 2K lead.
Yeah,
Liquid's refusal to switch those lanes, get a better place for Miracle is making this bottom lane a bit of a... It's just a beautiful zone for Cuckoo to have a dream start in terms of getting involved in kills.
I mean, TNC's probably thinking the same thing. They're probably like, oh, this is cool. We have Cuckoo actually lane. This is what we wanted. We wanted to have Cuckoo in versus that Troll Warlord, and even better that it's in the safe lane. That's the way that they set the lanes up, so. Gotta constantly see TNC set up for those aggressive plays.
They've got to be careful, Liquid, anytime they try and go for this bat, as it could backfire.
Aha. They have a good amount of slow. Now with KuroKy getting more creeps, he's able to, get that. The Satyr Banisher, but it's always going to keep getting arrowed. Panel mentioned that, the draft panel.
Tims is going to be happy with this.
Yep.
Thanks for bringing the big creeps to the lane.
The last one almost maybe caught Cuckoo killed a little bit because he killed the Mud Golem and the Shard Golems came out, but it ended up being just fine. But yeah, the 2K gold advantage, they're perfectly fine with the way these lanes are set up. Tims is, like we always say, Tims is going to start transitioning. He's got the first kills of the game. He's already top 5 net worth. He's same gold as the Troll Warlord down bottom. So the stacks, looking at Liquid at the moment, they're not actually setting up any stacks at all here, which we've seen a lot of teams doing, I think, more than ever. We always talk about that stack game. We saw how much, especially EG was doing it this morning. We saw like triple stacks all over the jungle. So we'll probably see them back up soon, or maybe KuroKy will send a creep to stack those.
See top lane, arm out, maximizing the damage, getting the Tidebringer hit off the creep, sets up with the X-Mark boat combo, and Mind Control is taken out. Making those early moves and making the most out of getting that level 7 nice and early on as the mid lane Kunkka.
Yeah, crisp, easy rotations coming out. So the other thing they do have, as we see, just used down bottom right there by KuroKy, that little Satyr Banisher, he's kind of keeping that one, not also just to put the pressure and slow, but to remove the sticky stacks from Miracle. So if Miracle is getting gone on, he can use that little Dispel on his teammate to help him out.
Back towards mid, he's coming a little deep, really a little aggressive. What's he doing in the trees? He's going to be straight up dead, surely, yes? Yeah, there's no escape for Wii. As it's not only the bottom, the top lane, it's the mid lane as well. TNC, we've seen them do this before. They are getting every single lane in their control, and they're getting kills all across the map.
We saw what they were able to do. The games that we casted versus Liquid, they ran away with those early games pretty hard in the majority and just were able to just completely control the map. And it's only 8 minutes in, but we're approaching like 3K gold marks, and the pressure, like we said, Liquid, how do they get aggressive? The Templar Assassin and the Troll Warlord, they're still doing okay, but who's going to make the move around the map?
Wow, and which hero do you get aggressive on? Mid lane, another combo's laid out, and it's another kill for TNC, just finding any opportunity to outnumber and make the pounce happen. Because
looking like free moves for them. They're just making
really
it look pretty simple with their rotations.
And I don't know how Liquid can make a move at this moment, because not only, as you say, it's hard for their heroes, it's also hard to do it on the heroes of TNC. They've got a mid lane Kunkka. He's very tanky. If he gets a poke down, now they're trying, but a good disruption. Saves him from the initial combo. Tims is coming in with the wraparound armor. He's trying to run himself away, looking to get to the high ground. He's still alive. They're putting him out. He's getting back to the tower, but they will kill him off. They'll get the kill, but now the turnaround comes into play. Tims turns, finds GH. We are trying to dive for more. One more hit on Tims will do it. Has the salve, ticking him back up. Kuro's looking to dive. Tims underneath the tower will be closed upon. We are gets the meld strike in, and finally Liquid are able to get some kills in their favor.
That's massive for them. Just able to set up, you having all these traps set up, Weehaw with that aggression, actually able to get Armel when he pushed up too far this time. So that one, Liquid finally able to turn it around. So that's a lot of space.
Because it is a big kill to find. Yep. As I was going to say, the 3 cores, they're not easy. You got the Kunkka, who's, when he's got the boat online at least, I believe he didn't have it available in that attempt. He's going to have that rum on him. You have a Wraith King with that second life when he's willing to put a skill point into it. And you got the bat down bottom, as we've seen before. You try and chase this bat, you don't kill him straight away. Next thing you know, you're walking through the fire and the flames, and you're dead.
TNC immediately smoking up. They know they can keep putting this pressure on here too. They still have, every time they do have boat available, they will make that move.
See in the river. TNC heavily outnumbering Liquid here. Miracle and GH have to be careful.
They're able to get, yeah, they're able to back up there. Kuroki also getting some deep vision during all these last few moments.
GH tried to come across a little closer to the rune. Arrow is going to be whiffed, but GH is going to end up rolling himself in pretty deep. TNC still a little careful about how they go on him. They don't want to try and force too much on a support kill.
They're losing their mid tower because of it. That rotation, they left to go bottom to gank, and Weeha's like, oh, thank you. He comes in and does 1,700 damage to that mid tower. Very important for Liquid, that map control that they can't get if they are able to actually get that mid tower. So much vision and opportunities they can get from just putting even down TA traps deeper.
So they're going to charge. Cuckoo. Got the Fireflies who will try and get himself over the charge, but with the Troll Summon, they've got the control. Cuckoo trying to escape. They have the damage. It's Miracle. Those axes will find the kill. Liquid now to start to even that net worth difference. Back off.
GH, even though he's 1-4-1, he's making the moves around the map with the team to at least bring them back with that. That tag team bonus really coming into play there versus Cuckoo. Can't actually get away from them as he's constantly getting hit and slowed and hit and slowed. And that allows Miracle to be a little more enabled too. That tag team bonus giving him that extra damage. That's tanking the arrow there, keeping that catapult alive. Nicely done by GH as well.
They'll look to try and outnumber Mind Control top. They know that the pressure's on bottom from Liquid. Mind Control, he's left. Very, very open for that play to happen, and they'll try and get a bit of a push on themselves. But Liquid, as it is, should be able to finish this tier 1 tower. No interest in TNC coming down here and trying to deal with the Chen Troll push for now. Tower will go Liquid's way. Diffusal Blade starts to get built into by Miracle.
That cuts the gold lead, the experience lead, completely back to 0 after that early game. Small rotations coming into play, but they're able to also get a lot off the map from Weeha as he backs up, takes the mid tower, goes to the jungle, completely recovers. It's the TA who was having a little bit of a disadvantage matchup in that Kunkka, and now almost level 12, and the Desolator's about to come online. Look at these heroes.
Quick.
TNC's heroes, they can be pretty squishy versus that early Desolator.
They can indeed.
Even Wraith King, not that high of an armor hero. He only has the 4 on base and then your 6 extra with that phase boots. But still, that's a lot that's going to be coming out from Weeha, as he pretty much has it done.
Yeah, they'll have a good shot at being able to kill that Wraith King twice when they go on the hunt for Gabby. It's Gabby. Midas and 1,400 gold as he works towards the Radiance. Just a bit of a timer to see what point of the game he'll be able to get that online and how it's going to correspond with some of these core items on Miracle and Weeha.
Armel's really acting as the ganker here, walking through the Sentry Ward here. Can he get the X? He will get it on Miracle, and the Bat Rider boots of travel on the creep wave.
There's the setup. Torrent Boat will start to lay down some of the poison. With Demonic Purge, Miracle can do very little to get himself out of this. Won't even bother wasting the 1 charge. Knows that he's dead. TNC find him out. A little too far on that bottom lane and a little alone.
But it is on their side of the map, so that's the one thing for Liquid is, you know, they killed him there, but can they transition into anything there as they have to bring 4 heroes? And look at Liquid. They are quickly running to the pit with that Deso finished up with the tag team.
Are TNC going to expect this? We have the smoke up arm LAU. They're heading over.
They seem to know.
Illusion's going to be sent out first to start to scout any possible maneuvers, but they're still under the cover of the smoke. Oh, so it's not a ridiculously fast Roche. It's a good time with the Deso.
They're starting to figure it out now.
Can they get in the pit? The shards have blocked them off from getting in. Armel, it's a big torrent. They're going to try and interrupt this. Liquid, they'll get it, and they get the kill. TNC will get the kill on Roche. Liquid are able to continue to secure the Aegis. Mind Control will die for this one. So TNC find a little bit of action, taking the kill away. And finally, after a bit of time, finishing off Mind Control, but the Aegis is still secured by Weeha.
Who ended up getting the last hit there? It was TNC, but who actually, was it the poison? I couldn't tell.
I imagine so. He got a few stacks on it. It's nothing crazy, but...
Yeah, a couple things. Yeah, it looked like it was the poison.
That's a bit of money. I mean, you can see there, 3K back up. TNC with that advantage. But obviously, eyes are on Liquid to make something happen with the Aegis on Weeha. They can definitely look to to try and push for some of those tier 2s, or at least the tier 1 that does still stand towards that top lane.
Yeah. Still tough to make those like aggressive moves, right? Until Weehaw does have a Blink Dagger or they go for the Tidehunter Blink Dagger, it's going to be a little bit difficult for them to get on top of heroes. We still see them, they are constantly smoking though. They're using their vision. They're trying to keep these aggressive moves and keep Liquid able to play on the opposing side of the map because he's trying to make sure that he maximizes the farm for the team. We were worried that maybe they both resort to jungle, but if this is the way they're going to do it, this is a good way to keep the pressure up while farming. But TNC, they're all set up around their area here. These bounty runes. They're going to look to even go for the aggressive one. They are pinging it out. Gabby does kind of want to go up there, but Chen, they see those creeps and they know it's a bit too scary to actually perch forward.
And we'll be able to get the 2 up top though. TNC, so securing the 3. So they just make sure that Liquid struggle to get back in with the lead. Halberd gonna be the next pickup for Armel.
Best item in the game versus pretty much one of the best items in the game versus TA, that longer duration.
And Troll, right?
And also very good versus Troll, yeah.
Both of these heroes render pretty useless in the fights. And obviously a long time until BKBs are out. Miracle is going to start to build towards his after the defusal.
It's definitely grim for the Troll. You pop Battle Trance, you get disarmed, you stand there. Not much you can do about it.
And they've got great ways to play with that sort of time where he's in the Berserk. Yeah. Having the disruption, kiting him up as well. It's, yeah, disruption and disarm makes it a big nightmare for Miracle before he has the BKB. Top lane again, Mind Control. It's going to be the one to get gone upon. But the Kraken, but there's the lasso, dragging him back. TNC will finish off the old watermelon.
So much damage coming in from the Kunkka with that Tidebringer, with all these items. The Shadow Blade plus that Sage, extra damage coming in. Quickly able to bring down Mind Control, he's farming slowly in this game. Not able to really get that Blink Dagger, but he's matched up at least with Cuckoo.
See down here, the Moonlight Shadow being used for Gabby. It's just going to end, so GH eyes on Gabby. Arrow's going to whiff. Gabby's going to try and come in fact onto Weehaw. They'll get on top of him as well with Cuckoo and the Firefly. Tim's and Armel turning up as well as they'll surround Weehaw. The Tidebringer hit comes in. They take the Aegis out of Weehaw. They're going to look for more. It's Liquid. A push to the side. Here's the second life of Weehaw. Aegis, as he'll be able to blink away. Now looks to go back in, looking to get on top of Gabby. Gabby now on the retreat. They've lost Cuckoo on TNC. Can Liquid find anything more out of this? GH has got eyes on Tims. The trap's being used by Weehaw to help continue the chase, but they don't want to run into the dark. They have no vision on the high ground, so they won't go any further, Liquid. As it's simply an Aegis traded for the life of Cuckoo.
Cuckoo's probably right with that. He's, you know, as we say, it's TNC. Cuckoo's like, I'm kind of the sacrifice. I'm not the real 3 position. Tims will eventually become that 3.
And sort of the time is ticking, of course, for Gabby. He has the Relic. Yep. Creep camp or a creep wave, and that Radiance is going to be done on the Wraith King.
And it's going to be a pretty devastating one. I know a lot of times we look at lineups and a lot of times casters always talking about there's so much magic damage on this team, there's so much magic damage, blah, blah, blah. BKB's so important. But you look at Liquids, they're not really that magic damage oriented in this time around. It's a lot of physical damage that is going to be coming out. So that Radiance, that evasion, all these little things are definitely going to start kicking in for TNC. And that Radiance is done, and they're already starting to group up. They want to keep it going.
It's there. He'll grab a Mango as well for the trip. Gabby with the Radiance done.
Radiance Halberd.
With the Halberd, yeah.
Yep.
They've got all those tools together, TNC, which is going to make it almost impossible for Liquid to take fights head on.
They want a greater form of initiation still, though. They want to get Cuckoo with that Blink Dagger, which he's approaching pretty soon. But Mind Control actually has his finished up already on the Tidehunter for Liquid. So those counter initiations, that's the one thing as a Bat Rider, you have to be careful versus Tide, because sometimes, you know, you grab a hero and then the Tide blinks past you and ravages your whole team. So TNC, they're going to have to be sure to jump. When they do these kind of jumps, they have to make sure they do it with proper vision to make sure that they can see those backlines to get the appropriate hero caught. And sentries, most of all. Lots of sentries in the lane to make sure you're not standing under TA traps so that Liquid does not know exactly where you're all set up.
So they've got that vision inside their jungle, Liquid, so fully aware of TNC setting up for this push up top. They may just have to let this tier 2 go, though. Still not quite ready, I feel, to turn up, at least until that BKB's done on Miracle. The fights aren't going to be easy at all if they do choose to take them, and just leave sort of Mind Control to keep the pressure off. Already the Skeleton's starting to really beat down on that tower. Damage is being done, the pressure being kept on by TNC at this early point. Set up down bottom from Armel.
They know someone's going to show down here. They haven't seen much from Liquid in a while. He sees GH. should be a pretty easy pickup for them here. Snowball.
Just trying to use it there in an attempt to get away. Torrent will be off the mark. GH with the shards. He tries his best, but the vision's there from Cuckoo. Crossing over the tree line with the Firefly to find the X mark vision for Armel.
Buys time for his course to at least farm. It's not even that much gold, right? 196 gold. How much XP do they get? They get like 630. That's actually a pretty decent amount. But yeah, he pushes the lane out, forces moves, and keeps his teammates farming where they are trying to get their BKBs. Because, like we said, for Liquid, they have mostly physical damage. But then we look at TNC, they have a lot of mixed and a lot of control. A lot of stuns, as the draft panel had talked about. So these BKBs for Liquid are going to be really needed for them to be able to take those fights.
Was, of course, a kill around the rune spawning. So TNC, again, will be able to secure the majority. 3 bounty runes for the one that Liquid's going to get the chance to grab.
They tried to also use that opportunity to get some deep vision down, but as we saw, Liquid was already prepared. They had the sentry down. Miracle easily able to get that one. So Liquid, like we said, they're just buying time. Right now is farm time for those BKBs. TNC, I mean, they're okay with farming as well.
Oh, they certainly are.
Yep.
With this Kunkka Wraith King.
Midas and Iranians, right?
And Tim's, as you mentioned, the 4th core in the making for TNC if the game does go on. They do not mind this passive state of the game. Obviously, Liquid feel like it is the only way for them to play at the moment. You do have to agree.
They need BKBs to fight.
They really do.
Troll Warlord into this is way too difficult to fight when he doesn't have it.
He's pretty much got it, and the same to be said for Weehaw. So definitely, within the next minute, when those BKBs are out, you can expect Liquid to start to look to make those plays and look to take the fights on their own terms.
They have to make a lot happen with those BKBs too, right? Your 10-second BKBs are massive because once those start trickling down, that is one of the things that we know about TA is you get to the later stages, you only have a 5-second BKB to work with, it can be really problematic. So they're going to have both looking to come out actually at the exact same time. So this is a big peak here for Liquid. And they do actually also have vision right now of TNC with this ward here up on that top bounty room. So a lot of information going for them on the map. Mid lane is still kind of pushing in, so they have to address that before they can make too big of a smoke. So one person will take that one out. And Liquid, they're going to look to set up here. But TNC, they're positioned here on the high ground.
Let's see. This is the all-important fight for Liquid. They're 4K down, they've got the BKBs. This is the time to swing that net worth advantage back in their favor. Miracle's going to look to start the fight with the wraparound. He's got eyes on Gabby. Jump forward from AU. AU's going to be the first to fall. Now they'll be able to focus down the Wraith King. Gabby getting his mana burnt by the defusal. Weehaw picks up the second. The exact kind of maneuver that Liquid was hoping to execute with that smoke and the BKBs. They're able to find a couple of kills, one of them being the big old Wraith King, getting Gabby off the map and opening up some space to pressure down mid lane.
Very methodically done, right? The way they wrapped around that smoke. Instead of just walking up to the high ground, they sent GH to the high ground, and then they wrap around the back to get the squishy supports as well as that Wraith King, who's still at this point, like we said, 5 armor, 5+6 armor. So he just gets easily brought down from these physical heroes of Liquid. And he switched the build. He's actually wanting to go for a more aggressive type build onto Gabby, that is, with a Blink Dagger. He had the BKB queued, he bought the Blink really quickly. So they want to be the ones jumping in and starting the fights, maybe killing units before they get those BKBs off.
I can see that, and I can see that for the escapes as well, right?
Yes.
You're just having the Blink on Wraith King, not only with the reincarnation, but you do have a Shadow Demon on your side. So you are going to have that disrupt into Blink escape.
They still have the axes, right? The Troll Warlord axe is one of the better things in stopping those instant blinks, but yeah, can definitely be used to get an escape off. And the big next timing, right? That Roche. 1 minute until it is going to be spawning. Liquid always keep tabs of it because they have those traps. So TNC, they want to try to have something happen within these next few moments. Try to catch Liquid when they are split up. Yeah, Liquid, they're just farming the map. With that BKBs, they're feeling pretty comfortable now.
Yeah, whether it be getting a kill before the Roche is up or just making them use the BKBs, making sure that they won't have the BKB charges ready for that Roche fight. That's at least the aim of TNC, and you see it straight away. Smoke up. It's time to make a play. I know that they just lost sort of the last bit of momentum, but they can definitely get it back if they're able to find a catch. Miracle.
These next few moments are so crucial. They find the smoke also to a power rune. They actually see an arcane. They're kind of camping it here, hoping someone Liquid is going to walk down.
It is warded, so if Liquid had their eyes on it,
They pinged it immediately.
Yeah.
Hiroki pinged it right away. He's
They
like, they're
saw it.
bottom. Yep, they're smoke bottom. He knows.
That's the risk you take when you take those power ins when you're smoked. And either way, it looks like TNC sort of knew it themselves. They grab the rune, they don't try and look any deeper. They don't go up to the high ground. They know that Liquid's very likely to have wards on the area.
They've got all their lanes pushed out right now on the side of Liquid. It's go time again. Like we said, those BKBs, they're also going to be constantly looking for fights. Also now I believe GH is bringing a Blink Dagger. This is also another very crucial item for Liquid. As Kyle mentioned on that draft panel, a lot of different ways that you can, they're telltale the way the TNC spell is going to be coming out. There's a lot of ways that you can get some nice saves coming in from GH.
There we go, smoke into Roche.
It's going to be a big fight.
It is scanned out, so TNC know exactly what's up. Cuckoo's going to start heading over with the Firefly. Moonlight Shadow being offered over by Tims. As Liquid will go for it. And you take it out very quickly. Cuckoo's going to try and look for the timing. He's in with the lasso. Armel's in with the BKB. The time bringing them over. Mind control. He's outside the pit with the Ravage. Armel already got the BKB up, but Tims is punched up into the air. Gabby's trying to tap, but a quick melt in from Weehart takes him down the once. He's back with a second life. Blinks over to the side. Weehart still trying to keep his eyes on Gabby. The Red Fire Blast slows down Weehart, but the rest of Liquid collapsing on the Wraith King. As Liquid will be able to hold this area around the pit. Armel tries for another poke, but he's already used the BKB. He's got to be careful. He's out of mana. 2 big hits from the TA. Bring Kuka down low. As TNC back up to the high ground. Tims is in. He's trying for the steal. They are not going to get it, though. Weehart will be able to secure that Aegis. Buyback for GH as he knows now with the Aegis in Weehart's hands. This is the fight for Liquid to take. Torrent out to Weehart and Mind Control. Miracle still on the sea escape, trying to desperately run away from those Shadow Demon illusions. GH and Mind Control, they're still on the front lines, punching up Armel. Miracle, he's thinking about going in, but he's incredible. He doesn't have the Aegis himself. It's on. Oh, it was on Weehart. There's the jump forward. AU taken out. Weehart once more. As TNC, they're getting pushed all the way back. Mind Control's there with the wraparound. Bleak forward for GH. They've found Tims as well. As TNC tried their best to time it around the Roche, but this time they won't even get the kill. Both elements going the way of Liquid.
They're too tanky. They have too much regen and ways of sustain. Coming in from the Chen, he pops the Hand of God, pops a mech. Fight kind of turns on itself. TNC, their damage just is not there. And we see Gabby. He looks like a support at this point. He dies so quickly in the fights from all the physical damage. Liquid, they're just knocking on the racks already.
A center boat down mid won't make the connection. 40 seconds, no Tims. Liquid more than happy to stand their ground and look to take this Rax away. Just 26 minutes there, they'll go for the lead in with the lasso. But snowball forward, Gabby throws out the sun. Armel puts the BKB, but he has to put the BKB in right. It's so much physical damage output coming out from Liquid. Miracle with the ult. He beats down Cuckoo. Gabby's out of mana. He's got to back off. The buyback comes in from Cuckoo. They'll look for the drag back with the X mark, looking towards Miracle, but he has to move at speed to get out. He's back in, has the Orchid, cuts down the SD, looks over to Cuckoo. That's a dive back on the Bat Rider as Liquid
They're going to keep
clean
going.
up the mid-bracks.
They look like they want to keep going in, but they don't have tier 2s. They look like they want to
I mean, they know they can.
They're just going to go over tier 4s.
It's 2 heroes dead without buyback. This should be Liquid being able to close down the game. Tier 4s are falling. TNC, can they hold it to 3? They're going to jump in. Silence out immediately onto Gabby. Gabby, he's got to be careful. His Moonlight Shadow, but Mind Control, the Ravage hits onto 3. Gabby's dead the once. They'll look for him a second time. Start out to Miracle, but Weehar's BKB is back and available as TNC are pushed back. Blinking aggressively from Weehar behind the Tiffle, behind the Ancient. Gabby's dead for 80. No buyback on him as well. Liquid will retreat. It will offer a little bit of mercy, a little bit of time. Weehar still being fought by Tims and Armel. They'll look for the X mark, but Tims, he's been slowed down, run down. He's got 1 leap, but Miracle's into the rainfall. Weehar blinks in, and that's Tims dead too. And with that, they could certainly have a good shot at closing this out. The fortification is there.
Armel is going to try his best with some cleaves, maybe setting them back a little bit, but they have the heal coming out from that mech.
Got the SD back in place. 7 seconds and Cuckoo's back in.
They're going to give him some respect. They're going to back off. They got the tier 4s. Structural damage was done.
Absolutely.
All that gold as well.
28 minutes in and the base being exposed, the Ancient exposed. Over the sort of the matter of those last few minutes of gameplay, 4 buybacks being used by TNC to no avail.
You have to be wondering if maybe in some of these situations like Gabby, he needed to go for a different, like an armor item in between. It seems like he bought the plate mail now later on after these last few fights went really poorly, but we saw he walks into the fights over and over again and he just melts. I feel like an armlet could have really argued to be a really good choice on him in this one because he just dies way too fast. He's not really having any type of impact on this Wraith King, while he has these other frontline heroes, the Kunkka, the Bat Rider, able to get in there.
We'll see it again. TNC just trying their best to slow down this pressure that Liquid's applying. And they just don't have the means to do so. The BKB timings from Liquid earlier just really set everything in motion for their lineup.
And too much sustain. The Chen just rallied around Kuroki, having all that different types of healing coming in. Even the Vlads, more healing coming in for those carries. Yeah, you can see. A bit frustrated.
GH still in the zone. Keeping it focused. As much as it looked like the game would end, it's going to be for now. They do hold the Ancient.
They have such a commanding lead now, though. We saw the last few fights without these other items picked up. Miracle, a full Satanic. The Orchid we saw, of course, by Weehan that last fight. And even now Solo Crest for My Control. So these carries, who are hitting extremely hard, now are going to be hitting even harder versus this, what became a super squishy Wraith King after having such a good farm.
It really did. It really did. And we have seen TNC make some remarkable comebacks in the group stage. And they do it here on the main stage. This game is getting quickly out of control for them.
It feels like their damage is, they've hit a wall of damage, pretty much. Liquid just able to counteract it too much. Sure, TNC, they keep coming back in. They throw a Tidebringer, they throw a Starstorm, then they leap back out. They have a lot of different ways to like poke and prod, but yeah, Liquid, they just rally and group up, and it's too much right now for TNC to take. Around this Tidehunter, like we said, this hero has been also winning a lot of games. Just the way that the group up, the team fights that happen, the way that you're able to just counter-initiate and just ruin the whole entire idea and the way that TNC wanted to fight.
And of course, as you mentioned, sort of that all-important hero, the power of who gets the Chen in this series.
Yep.
And whether we see Kuro being able to grab it for Liquid or AO being able to bring it out for TNC is going to be quite a deciding pick in the drafts.
Absolutely. I mean, you see him. He's 1-0 and 13. It's not even like TNC's like hemorrhaging kills all over the place. Armel is 6-1 and 4 in this game. It's pretty remarkable the way that they can just group up around this hero, around the Tidehunter as well, and just start to close the map and win a couple fights and just snowball out of control. That's what we see a lot happen with these Templar Assassins. These 30-minute pushes, these 25-minute pushes with an Aegis, able to really just take over your advantage. As yeah, Liquid, they're just controlling the map now, and Gabby is trying to find some farm on the map, hiding in the trees with his Radiance off. But Liquid, they want blood. Kuroki wants blood too, look at him.
He's ready.
Pretty fierce, pretty fierce stance there by him.
He's got that fighting face on. So they'll continue to just clean up the easy free money. Another shrine will fall.
You can tell TNC's feeling pretty desperate. Trying to get any type of forms of farm on the map. Gabby pushing far forward. Cuckoo as well, trying to cut waves. Liquid.
To the base they go, the AU. Getting smashed by the anchor. We are in with the quick finishing blow. As this 5-man of Liquid just seems a little too powerful right now. This draft for TNC to deal with and hold back at the 32-minute point. Into the base they go, Liquid. Ancient's starting to get poked upon by Miracle.
Just put him in that front lines there. Yes, Satanic, yes, BKB, yes, Solar Crest. Throne's going down. Gabby can jump in.
He's going to try for the jump. Snowball comes out. They'll turn quickly, looking to burst him down the first. And in fact, he's out of mana. He's dead without the chance.
Short.
He can't hit. They burn his mana. They burn his life. Ravages out from Mind Control. They're all dying again on TNC as Liquid will push Armel back to the base. And GG is called. This game was over at least about 5 minutes ago. They tried for one last hold. It's the main stage. You've got to do it. But game one, without a doubt, goes the way of Liquid. And you can't help but feel as well that this one was a game where a lot of it really was on the draft. It worked out perfectly for Liquid. They knew the exact tempo to play with this lineup. They get the Kuroki Chen. They hit all their timings. And try as they might, TNC as well, a team that had a good start in the lanes. They were performing well in the first 10 or so minutes, but as the draft started to clash, they just didn't have it in their lineup to deal with this physical push and sustain that Liquid had.
It's the sustain, right? And that timing, like you were mentioning, such an important timing from Liquid. They did it pretty much perfectly. All of it came together. Double BKBs came together. They take a fight. And then with this Chen, with this high amount of healing, Kuroki having this 1-0-18, we see the damage numbers. TNC, they did a lot of damage, but a lot was negated.
There we go, ladies and gentlemen. First game of the series. I mean, Fog, just a quick word from you. Going into game two, what are you watching out for the draft to change?
Probably the Chen is one you have to look out for a lot.
All right, so all about the Chen. But there we have it. First game goes the way of Liquid in this best of three, as we'll pass you back to Shiva and the panel.
Yes, thank you very much, Jody, Pixel, and Fogged. In that game, 32 minutes, and when you're playing against TNC, it's always a little scary because they're a team that makes these games go really long sometimes and then take it as well, as we saw in the group stages even. This time, though, Liquid able to close it out, Trent.
Timing. I mean, what was the big thing about TI7 for Liquid, right? It was all about very specific timing windows where it would be like the Aghanims on the Coddle or like that Necrophos gets the perfect item. We go, we take high ground, we win the game. Sort of a similar situation here, right? Where it almost looked like that VP game I was thinking of, right? Where you had Pasha on the Tidehunter kind of winning these engagements, but eventually the Alkit like took over and they won. Sort of a similar thing with the Wraith King, kind of a somewhat similar playstyle there, but actually hitting the timing this time there from Liquid and taking the game.
Yeah, besides the Chen, Tidehunter, and Shadow Demon, they seem like Tidehunter seems like one of the strongest heroes because you need to pick some kind of a counter for him. You need to have either a Disruptor, Enigma, something like a Chrono, something that he can't get out of. Otherwise, you have a guaranteed Ravage in a team fight, and if you're not playing around those timings, you're just going to get dismantled, especially in the Roche Pit fights. And we've seen that a couple of times. Also, Liquid managed to get Aegis twice. V has stole it once because they got the last hit on it. Also stacking multiple items with minus armor, Deso, plus the Solar Crest. Right now, in my opinion, Solar Crest is one of the best, if not the best, item in the game right now.
Oh yeah, I definitely agree. Plus, I think that even though the laning phase was like a little bit hard, and TNC did a really good job in that, I just felt like eventually you're gonna have to 5-on-5, get into team fights, and you're not gonna burst this Tide down. You're not gonna burst this TA down. If they got the Aegis, I felt like your problem becomes like doubly so, because killing Miracle once is like okay, but you got to get through him twice. They had that one situation where like they actually got lucky where Tim's the double Starfall hit, and they were able to clear it like really quickly. But as soon as Liquid got the ball rolling, I mean Chen looks so good in games like this. He didn't have to do the weird thing with the creeps where it was just like he got all the little tomatoes or whatever or potatoes. He was able to actually grab like useful creeps and just like march down lanes.
It was very dominant in the team fight, and the game was very even at the start, though, apart from maybe the mid lane where we struggle a little bit there, able to recover. But that Roche fight happened at some point, and at that point it was like, okay, you know what, Liquid, this is their time. They're going to try to make a run for it.
Yeah, TA is one of the best Aegis carriers in the game, and you're playing around the timings. The first Aegis, you want to build some advantage, even though the first Aegis was gone real quickly. The second one, this is where you want to end the game. You want to get to at least one set of Raxes because of the death, so you get one good team fight, clear it out very easily.
Yeah, amazing performance from them. We are going to head into the second game really soon, but first, we're going to check in with Slacks, who has a guest, a musical guest, I believe.
Shito? Ladies and gentlemen, we thought we'd hype this place up a little bit with a special musical guest coming in all the way from Japan. You know him, you love him, ladies and gentlemen, it's Mara!
Hello, everyone!
We're back, baby!
Baby! Big Boy's brother!
Big boy brothers out there! Yeah! Mara, we gotta wake this crowd up. We might have one more game.
Yeah.
I need some rapping. Can you throw me a rap, Mara?
Okay.
I'll give you. I got the beat.
What's up, Twitch? What's up, TI9?
Well, I got a rap. Let me do the beatboxing.
Yeah.
You ready?
Okay.
All right, here we go.
Please, come on, please. Yeah. Big Boys Brothers. Yeah.
Yeah, Mara! We're back! Oh, it's so good to have you back. Hope you guys woke up a little bit. Mr. Mara, anything to say out there to all your fans in the West?
What's up?
What up, dude?
I'm Japanese Dota 2 player. 3K players.
Don't tell me you're 3K. He's very good. Don't listen to him. Follow Mara on Twitch. He's the man, Mara. Great to see you again. Have fun at TI, buddy. Yeah. And back to you. Dota 2 up!
Dota 2 up!
Woo! You know, I actually started out with that rap thinking, you know what? This is not that bad.
What are you trying to imply?
Well,
what are you trying to imply?
Dota 2 up. Do you want to give it a go? I mean,
Oh
Dota 2,
Well, you know, right now you're doing it and your microphone can actually take it, but I heard some spikes there, and I am sorry to all you headphone users out there, because I'm sure there's some that are blown up, but always good to see Mara. What an amazing guy, great energy he has, and of course we remember him from TI8, where Slacks actually took a trip to Japan, and yeah, amazing. That was, all right. Great musical guest. Definitely not what I was expecting.
Yeah, we will cover your medical bills for your ear damage after this.
No, we won't, because it probably will be way too high.
Way too many people?
Too many people. You tried, though.
Because so many people are loving this great series between TNC and Liquid. Am I right?
That is true. All right. I mean, the rap was, you know, to get us more hyped up, get us more energetic. And this series, this deserves also all this energy because it's a big series. We're having an elimination game, Liquid TNC. It's so scary right now being in the shoes of TNC as they are with their backs against the Roblets.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And the weird part is they crushed Liquid in the groups, right?
Yes, they did.
They actually made it so that Liquid had no chance to make it into the upper bracket. And now they're facing one game away from elimination. It's a scary position to be in.
I think it's probably kind of scary when you watch VP go out before you too.
Yes.
I don't know. I feel like that would impact me if I was TNC. Like, I just saw these guys who I've been fighting against all year and are kind of, I'm sure, people they look up to and people they've probably looked for playstyle adjustments from, and they just got eliminated. And now you're sitting here versus Team Liquid, who, of course, is almost similar to VP in that same regard of like, oh my God, why are they down here? They're so good.
Or it's the other way around.
Oh.
If VP can bleed, Liquid can bleed. You know?
Optimus.
If VP can get knocked out like that,
well, for sure they can. I mean, even during the group stage, Liquid showed that they can bleed, and the TNC already took 2 games of them, so I'm pretty sure they can do it again. They just need to adjust their draft a little bit. Don't let Chen, if you have a Tidehunter, get some kind of a counter. I think Doom was also picked in only two of the games so far. So that's one of the good counters to a Tidehunter because he can't get Kraken out of that.
Get more team fight stuff. But that's what we want to see anyway, because these big team fights, that's what we know TNC for. They fight, and they have such precision when they fight, and it's so fun to watch. Not always fun for the fans, because definitely there's some heart rate spikes there, but definitely something that is super exciting, and I'm just hoping that they can get some team fight in there because they kind of lacked that game too, Trent.
It's hard to fight the Tide though, man. It's
That's
like, you're talking about Doom, only picked like twice, and then I think it was Virtus Pro who tried the Brewmaster too. His first pick of the whole tournament, they were cycloning the Tidehunter, still wasn't enough. And then on top of that, maybe like Ursa also hasn't been picked. Monkey King, rarely
Monkey
seen.
King is more of an OG kind of a pick. If someone's going to pick it, it's going to be definitely OG. We don't see that hero too much, especially not on the safe lane.
Disruptor's playable, but I feel like a lot of the 5s are currently in the support, or I guess like the saving sort of a role, like the Shadow Demon really standing out to a lot of us in these drafts too. So it seems hard to work these like classic Tide counters in.
And if you give Tidehunter a good laning stage, he will deliver because that hero actually becomes a core and deals a lot of damage. And those cores that the melee cores, especially that playing in the laning stage and in the mid game with the anchor smash, it reduces so much damage.
Let's talk a little bit about the players that we have soon again on the stage. AU, latest addition to TNC. If you don't count Heen, I mean, sure, the coach came later, but as a team, as a squad, AU has a, of course, remarkable story of being an analyst, and then, all right, well, you know, you can also play.
Oldest, I guess he's like the oldest member of TNC because he played way back with Teehee. On that old school roster back then. So he's like, he's out, he's in, back out, back in, sort of a deal all over the place. And I used to cast him all the time in all the open qualifiers. And so I would always like message him, be like, yo, can you add me as a friend so I can like watch your games and stuff? So I've been watching him now in before TI. The guy has just been playing Chen. Like every time I click his profile, it's just this guy is currently in a ranked game as Chen.
You just wanted to brag that you have him in the friend list.
That was a really long, weird story to come back.
Yeah, you know, wow, pro player and the friends guys got him. You don't have any of those, I bet. You know, pro player and coach of team. I bet you have no friends.
No.
Wow.
Oh.
Well, we don't have real life friends.
No, dude.
No.
Besides Dota.
Don't they count as real life friends? Come on.
Not really. Like, do you think I'm gonna be? You think I'm gonna hang out with Bulba after my Dota career's done?
All right, guys, let's welcome them back in. They're gonna take the stage for game number 2. Team Liquid facing TNC. It should be one heck of a match here, as we already saw game 1. It felt like Liquid evolved. It felt like Liquid were back. They're strong. We've seen them do it in the lower bracket before. we're slightly different roster. TNC, before the series started, we did mention them as a team which as often overrated or underrated, and nobody really knows what's happening. But you know what is happening? Casey sitting down with Liquid. Actually, that's not happening. That has happened, and we can watch it right now.
Kuro, GH, welcome. Thank you. So we mentioned TI8. We all made a huge story out of the narrative that of all the teams we had seen come back as TI champs, this felt like the first real chance of seeing a repeat winner 2 years in a row. Did you feel the pressure of that narrative, or did you use that to fuel you?
Certainly there was like some sort of pressure, but I don't think we let it really get to us. It's more like the TI itself is full of pressure, more than anything else.
And it's constantly changing. It's not the kind of game where you win TI and now a year later, 2 years later, you know for sure you're still the best. Like you have to really actively work at it because it's constantly
Dota is a
evolving.
kind of game, it's impossible to just stay on the top for a long time without like putting your soul into it. And even if you put your soul into it, doesn't matter. Like someone just overtakes you anyway.
And how is Kuro as a leader? How would you describe him as a leader when that kind of thing happens, trying to keep everybody focused on rolling with the punches?
I mean, it's easy for me to say because I know most of what happens behind the scenes usually. It's hard for the public to understand what Kuro's true job is. It's 90% outside the game that nobody actually sees. So I feel like his true role is not in-game related as much as outside the game, even though he offers an extreme amount of information.
He basically said I'm a shit player, but you know.
I didn't want to say it, but
Yeah, how do you separate that? Because I know that you have to make decisions that are business related about friends and teammates. And you know, the most common time for teams to make changes sometimes is right after a TI. You made no roster changes, but then in June, you parted ways with Matumba Man. That had to have been really difficult because you've been playing together as the same players for so long. So I know that that wasn't a decision that you made lightly.
No, it was, I mean, I was basically depressed for like 4 weeks afterwards. It sounds silly because I made the decision, but at the end of the day, being captain, leader, and whatever of this team, I have so much responsibility. Like they're all trusting me after all to make the right decisions. So getting Weeha and replacing Mato with Weeha is not just like exchanging like a player for a better player. That's not what happened. It's more like Mato was like a victim of these events. Like I just needed to change something right now. That's how I felt.
And how was that as a player for you, GH?
I mean, we all felt some kind of complacency in the team. It felt like everyone was just okay with not being the best. We had some feelings of, okay, we didn't win this one, but we weren't trying our best to win the next one.
Yeah, and he's not talking about Mato. He's talking about the whole team.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So it felt the build-up was there, but we didn't know how to deal with it because all of us as players, we actually wanted to win, but we didn't know what was the missing factor, that spark that actually was gonna lead us to win. Because no one was feeling this sense of urgency to actually try 120% better to win the game. So the situation was kind of weird because I have never experienced it before. And Kuro was, I mean, I can keep talking highly about Kuro, but he actually foresaw what was going to happen, and he made the best choice by actually changing something. Even though I love Mato and I love him as a person, as a player, but Kuro had stronger idea that something had to change, and I respect him so highly for that because it's not an easy decision. So I was really happy that he had the strength to do what was necessary in order for us to succeed, our team and Mato as an individual somewhere else too.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Casey.
Wow, some open-hearted conversations, some heavy topics there that Casey reached together with GH and Kuro. Blitz, I want to get your take on that because obviously you're very close to all of those players, and you witnessed all events as a friend of all of them. How was that for you?
That was weird. Because it's like, you want to get mad at Liquid at first, because obviously Masu's upset, but he got over it pretty quickly.
Okay.
Like, actually, he told me his biggest regret about this event was like they didn't go farther because he wanted to meet Liquid in like the lower bracket and like recreate like the stare.
Yes.
You know, when No-Tail flight, he actually wanted to do that like for fun. He thought it'd be funny to like create some drama. But, like, he's really cool with them all. Like they hang out, they play party. They played a party queue game together while they were still at the tournament.
Yeah, after all, it's a business.
Yes.
So, I mean, I've been there, where you need to choose whether you want to go in the business side or the friendship, and it's really hard. Sometimes the friendship breaks if they're not strong enough, right?
Now, the main question that was on a lot of fans' minds when that happened, though, and of course that is something that as a captain, again, every time it comes back to decisions and did you make the right one, Trent, we have seen them come second at 2 majors, and even with Matu with second, with Weeha second, and this tournament so far, they're not doing too hot. Was it the right decision?
Oh, I mean, we can't really answer that, I don't think, right? Because we never know what would happen. Maybe you can assume that if they inside and internally and emotionally felt like that could even be done, as, well, someone's getting triggered. If they could even make that kick, then clearly it was the right decision, I think. Because if you've reached the point where it's even possible to pull someone off your team like that, then there must be some sort of a lack of trust or something happening there that things aren't connecting.
Tough decisions for sure. TNC has got some tough decisions to make as well. Banning Chen or hoping that you can take it. Felt like that was kind of what we took away from that game. Most of all, Tidehunter, of course, in there as well. As it feels like the Chinese panel is having some fun with the crowd right now. So we can hear some feedback from that as well.
It's weird, they don't rap. I mean, I would think that was the cheering.
Yeah, they were happy about that.
Yeah.
And you were kind of stunned, Blitz, after that the rap segment. I thought you took an arrow.
Oh, you
5 seconds.
No, it was something else. I hadn't heard anything like.
I mean, you're a hip-hop aficionado.
Yeah.
From what I understand.
It was pretty top tier, if I'm going to be honest.
Would you compare him to any particular artists?
I'm not sure. That was pretty. Maybe Blueface or something like that. That was pretty unique.
I don't know who that is. But I'll take your word for it.
Top tier rapper. Let me just say.
What did you think of the beatboxing? That was the most. It started out great, but ended up being pretty jarring at the end.
I simultaneously like Slacks and dislike him more. Like both of them at the same time. It's like
first time I heard about beatboxing was when Roselle released couple of his songs, and this was way better. I don't know if you're into beatboxing. I've listened to it way before, but right now I still think this is one of the best segments we had.
Is Slacks the TNC both overrated and underrated? Is that what you're
like
digging at here?
Ground rule?
I just, dude, the entire time she was asking, like, aren't they your friends? I was like, would I continue to be friends with Jake outside of Dota? It's like simultaneously, he's like one of the people I want to know the most after I'm done with Dota, and the least. It's like, how am I going to introduce him to like my family? Like, hey, this is Jake. He's like, hi, guys.
Knocks over something in the living room, breaks a lamp.
Like, is my mom going to find that endearing?
Hey, I met your mom. I think she'll be fine with that.
Well,
I think she'll take it in stride.
Okay.
She seems like when she just take it in stride, it's like, okay, you know, this is who he is, and we'll go with that.
I guess.
I mean, you know your mom better than I do.
Nah, she's kind. She'll like Jake for what he is. Why are you saying for what he is? But you're implying that he's
That's
not
not what
normal?
I said. That was your words.
I'm just saying. I'm piggybacking off what
That's literally what you
What was that? Just
What?
trying to put some words in her mouth over there. Noble effort here.
He's a
on
treasure.
The fun panel.
He is.
One of a kind. We have a lot of one of a kind people in our talent group, which I'm very happy with. One of a kinds, of course, also the players on the stage fighting for a chance to survive here at the International 2019. A lot of money on the line as well. Which, by the way, these two teams don't necessarily need. They're good. They're not playing for the money. They're playing for the
You don't
prestige.
need more money in your life.
At some point, a lot of money is a lot of money.
Yes, but I know, like, for example, Liquid. everyone knows their financial situation, right? Like they want a TI. They're good. They don't need anything. These
TNC
guys-
won WSG twice.
Yeah, they're all good. At this point, you just play for the pride, and the fact that TI is such a cool, unique opportunity to prove that unequivocally you are the best. Like, there are very few things or opportunities in life where, you know, like, you can say that you're good at something, but it's really hard to prove that you're the best. TI is that opportunity. Screw the money. Like, at that point, it's great, and it's a great headline, but at this point, like players like Kuroki, they're just playing for legacy.
Yeah, that's why some of these teams who already earned a lot of money throughout all these years of Dota, they are not under the pressure. There's a new coming teams who are probably thinking sometimes in the booth, oh, I've just lost a lot of money, and you can see it on their faces.
All right, guys. It's going to be an exciting match. I want to know from you guys. I don't want to know anything from you guys, actually. I want to know more of the guys that will handle the draft. So let's head over to that right about now.
TNC Predator versus Team Liquid. Game 2.
It's about time I get the respect that I deserve. I know things. I know, Febby, you know things, and Kyle, Febby, I got a lot of questions for you on this next panel. We just saw a turnaround. We saw TNC basically 2-0 Liquid in the group stage. We thought that they had their number. We saw the draft. We heavily favored TNC, and somehow Liquid ended up getting a victory anyway. What the hell happened?
I underrated the troll pick, honestly. I think the troll pick, I thought at first glance, I thought it was going to be too greedy with TA. I thought he needed to be like a lighter hero, but he itemized to be that like early tempo hero, so Wraith King couldn't have the room to breathe. Because Wraith Kings are a carry that can usually fight early, but not against mana burn heroes. And Troll, he got Diffuser, so he became that mana burn hero. So we saw the game just blowing out of proportion before Wraith King getting that level 20.
I think that TNC was caught off guard by the sheer amount of physical damage that Liquid's lineup could pull off. You had the Solar Crest Tide, you have Gush, I believe you're talented for it, Troll and TA with the Death, so like it's just
the
so much damage.
Spare too.
Yeah, that, perfect. And you also have Chen, of course, giving a little bit of plus damage as well with the aura. It's so much that once you get ahead, like once they won that one fight and took the mid-racks, it's really difficult for Liquid to lose, especially when they have the team fight of a Tide Hunter to rely upon. And we saw the Ravages usually, they're hitting 2-3 heroes per fight easily.
Yeah, so I think I was talking about how TNC prioritizes the Earthshaker, Sand King, and the Bat Rider, and I think Tide is good against all these three heroes.
Yeah.
So
Well, what if you just straight up pick the Tide, huh? How
I
about you
think that's
take
what they were thinking too. Yeah.
Take a page right out of the book, and they're gonna first pick Tide. Ended up banning out. Man, they keep respect banning the Weepo. Meepo still getting first phase ban, and the Beastmaster again, like you had mentioned.
Yeah, and I think if you compare these team strengths, I feel like TNC has always been just the kings of the skirmishing. They love their guerrilla-style warfare. They're oftentimes like they'll make moves in separate areas of the map at once.
And what is the Korean team that we always used to reference that would have that sort of play style?
Yeah. I guess they learned a thing or two from us.
MVP Phoenix, the original man. The Spirit Breaker days of MVP Phoenix, the Caveman Dota days, and TNC Predator, I feel, are still carrying the torch a little bit.
Yeah. Meanwhile, though, Liquid is more about that just controlled, disciplined Dota, and like they kind of just wear you down. If you're in a scenario where you don't have the ability to 5-on-5 them, it's near impossible to take them down because they're just not going to give you fights that they're behind it. And okay, yeah, for a moment there, I thought I heard Miranda like, wait, did Liquid just go ST Miranda inside? That would be good, but of course, that is going to be TNC's hero, most likely the 4 position again, we can assume. I really like the SD Lesh, however, especially against Tide.
Yeah, Lesh is just amazing against Tide. I'm a bit surprised on the Mirana pickup because I was talking to some position 4 players that played Mirana, and they said that this hero needs setup. Like, sure, he can go Atos, but this hero is like, his main strength is the early mid game. That long distance arrow, that like insane amount of damage input, but without a proper setup, it can't land his arrows. There's SD disruption to like counter gank the whatever TNC's aggressions are. And right now, TNC seems like they're gonna have trouble hitting their arrows because they have no stun.
Yeah.
That being said, it used to be very common for Mirana +1s to be roaming around constantly together. Like in the Bane Mirana days, it would always be those 2 heroes going and taking a tour from lane to lane. Whereas these days, it seems like Mirana is more content that if my mid laner has a stun, or if one of my side lanes has a stun, then that's all you really need. So she really only needs 1 lane with 1 stun to be at least somewhat effective as a 4 position.
That is true, but I think more the merrier. You know, like
Yes.
there's more play options, there are more kill options. You know, Dota it becomes really hard if you can't farm out maps properly, and if there's a lot of kill threats from the other team, like a lot of like different variables, then it becomes that much more difficult.
I agree. It's these two teams are flying through the second. Well, really, this entire draft. This is the first time we've seen reserve time touched, and kind of expected if you consider Kuro and Heen. If there's two players that know how the other think, or two drafters rather, it's got to be these guys, as they work together for the better part of 2 years.
Still plenty out that second phase ban. Sven ended up being banned out by Liquid, and TNC Predator respect banning that Templar assassin that we pretty much wrecked shop on in the game 1.
Yeah. It's a long time, but this is arguably the most critical part of the draft from the second pick position, the turn, as we like to call it, because you just ban into immediate pick. And I think this is also, this was a change. Wasn't it just after last TI that this swapped?
I feel like it had been longer than that.
It might have been. I don't know. You lose track, but it, I think, pushed second pick into the better position to draft from, because you get this selection, and then you also get last pick out of the phase, of course. They go Rubik, one of your prototypical tied counters. Does mean their support duo, really their whole draft is very squishy at the moment. Liquid could be exploited by a number of heroes. Like anything with like high reach, you just get on top of the Lesh, on top of the Rubik. There's not really much you can do anymore.
Yeah, I agree. SD, Lesh, Rubik, both this trio of heroes, they're very squishy, so Liquid has to pick some frontliners on the next two heroes.
Yeah. You think of like a hero, I mean, it's not ideal for the game necessarily, but something like Ember, PA, you know, anything that can just get on top of Liquid, because you then have a setup stun if it's something like an Ember Spirit, and in addition, you have Tide. So whenever you have this huge team fighter that's immobile, I like to see it combined with non-Blink Dagger required initiators, so that you have some ability to create chaos and just let the fight develop so that you don't need to Ravage to initiate.
That's why I really like this Rubik pick, because normally what I would have thought to fill the gap that you're asking for, why not a Tim's Earthshaker, right? Get an Aghanim Scepter on him, something like that. You don't need a Blink Dagger Initiator or anything like that, but Rubik famously so good at dealing with Earthshaker just because Stealing Fissure is one of the best spells in the game.
I'm surprised that Liquid have not addressed the Bat Rider with their second phase bans if they were going to go for this route. And Oracle immediately picked up by TNC Predator. This is something we've seen them use in the past. They're not afraid to take heroes like Huskar. Really, there's the plethora of options they could choose to just abuse this sustain combo. And now you have what will most likely be some super tanky hyper carry combined with the Tide Hunter. The team fight's going to be really difficult for Liquid to deal with.
I mean, TNC have had a tendency to go for Bristleback. That strikes your
I love that. That's perfect, right? You just run straight for these squishy backliners. And what does Liquid's draft do right now against a Bristle?
I don't know. I think SD is pretty good against Bristle. I'm sorry to disagree, Kyle, but that's what I think. And I think.
How dare you, Febby?
We're
all supposed to be friends here.
I'm sorry, he's a bit outdated. You know, like I almost made it to he hasn't been on the qualifiers, yada yada yada. But I think they're gonna be picking Juggernaut or PA instead of a Bristleback, because SD just owns Bristleback. His second spell takes away half of his HP.
True.
He's got like, you know.
Yeah, but you just purge that off, and then he heals back 20% immediately.
Yeah, so specifically with an
synergy.
Oracle, yeah. So an Oracle kind of complicates that.
Febby, didn't we play against each other all the time back in the day? What was our record against Immortals?
all right, that's true.
Kyle, I remember your Shadow Demon also. I famously remember one Shadow Demon game of yours at a TI qual where you just refused to Shadow Poison in Disruption and people kept blinking out of the Disruption. Infuriating.
I don't remember that. Must have blocked it out.
Underlord picked up by Liquid.
Ooh, damage reduction stacking strat.
This
all right.
is true.
You got the Fade Bolt, you got the Underlord Aura. Still, I think the Dream Bristle game, there is max HP damage from the Wave of Terror, but there's just I just don't see any like real damage to kill a Bristleback right now. And sure, you got the last pick, but I just think it's the perfect pick here. Maybe an Ursa, maybe a Huskar, some sort of beefy hero that just goes in.
Well, do you like that direction, Febby, or would you like more of the assassin direction that we've been seeing? We've seen a lot of these Phantom Assassin getting Aghanim Scepter or something like that. You don't necessarily need to stick around a long time, you just need to kill them really fast. But they're going to go for a Death Prophet, a hero that does like staying alive for a very long time.
Yeah, with the DP, I especially kind of agree with you because DP tide, they're just too fatties. I think right now from TNC, they need something
Quick
of
and
an
dirty.
assassins.
Okay.
Yeah, something like PA, Anti-Mage, you know, like those type of assassin heroes.
I think they need a stun, guys. You're completely all in on your support duo right now to provide lockdown. And I'm always a bit concerned when I look at a draft and I see 3 cores that don't want to impact the other lanes in the early game. And sure, DP can rotate, pop ultimate, take towers, but you don't have this playmaking hero. So if Liquid get ahead early on and their supports have an advantage, all of a sudden it's just naked arrows flying out here and there. If they don't land, there's no kills happening on the map, and it's then difficult for TNC to capitalize on the teamfight edge, because you need the kill to then secure you the opportunity to push for an objective. You don't want to just be sitting 3 of 3 and just like blowing your spells and walking out of town.
I think TNC wants to pick something like Void or Jug to
Got banned. Liquid's one step ahead, unfortunately.
Okay, I didn't see that, but
the Chug is a good idea, though.
To complement their like 5-man, I think it's either that or they just want to go late game with Anti-Mage or PA, but they don't see enough information to pick those kind of assassin heroes. So,
can at least one of you justify this Underlord pick for me? Because to me, that seems like it's coming a little bit out of left field. You had initially mentioned the damage over time for Firestorm being highly effective against, I guess the Tidehunter is one specific hero, but is it really enough to pick an Underlord just for that situation?
I think it kind of fits the category of heroes that Liquid needed. If you look at the first 3 heroes, they needed a frontline of a beefy fatty hero slash a teamfight item getter and a teamfight hero.
The Aura Horrors, as I like to call them.
Oh yeah, I guess I like that term. So I think that's the type of hero they.
TNC's lineups also, the first 3 were very low damage. In fact, they still have relatively low damage output, especially if the DP ultimate is on cooldown. Liquid have, I mean, well, depending on what they last pick, but just because of the Lesh and the Underlord, like there's so much, they just spam spells, and you're going to be able to out DPS the TNC draft. Still think Ember's a possibility here for TNC? Their tower pushes hand?
But I've heard Underlord was really great against. Oh, Berserk, Kyle!
Woohoo! Don't give Kyle credit for that.
You were waiting. I saw your note.
Wow.
That was me.
So they're a bit
Kyle, why is this hero good? Please tell me.
We already went into it. We're good. It's handled. If they weren't paying attention the first time, we don't get it. There's no repeats here. It's TI. You should be a fan. Last pick for Liquid, though. This is where things can get dicey because you need tower damage right now. You need something that does raw physical damage output. We've got to assume it's a miracle hero with the Leshrac for Wii. And
I think they can anti-mage for Liquid, and they can just hold on.
Yeah,
for laking.
I like a hyper carry. I think that sounds good.
Oh. Whoa, fat! Guys, we were both right.
Woo!
Wait, don't high five each other until the camera comes back. Then we can get super hype. I don't even know if it will come back, but you called the anti-mage. Do you think that Liquid Miracle anti-mage, he's going to be able to 1v5, or what's the situation?
I mean, it has to be a 1v. I mean, look at the other remaining 4 heroes have to play very well in order for anti-mage to come online, and I truly believe that SD is really good against the BB. So I think and we're gonna see that like at least once in the game.
I think it can go either way here, but it is a throwback to like that old vintage Liquid style where you have Miracle. It's a 1-4. It's gonna be 4 heroes running around the map trying to make things happen, and Miracle at some point is gonna be slotted enough to get a triple kill in some team fight, hopefully take the game. TNC, of course, want to prevent that. They got to take towers early and find big team fights before AM's online.
Well, let's see what the TNC draft justification is as we send it over to Casey, who's speaking to Heen.
Thank you. Yeah, Heen, I'm curious how it feels when you're drafting against your former team. Does it make it easier or harder?
I think there's a little bit of both because Liquid, since this tournament's begun, they've started transforming. I think this series there aren't really any surprises.
What lessons did you take from the first game as you entered your second draft? I know you can't get into specifics. You don't want to give away your strategy, but
I think we chilled too much in the game, and the lineup they used in that first game was something very similar to another one we used in Super Major, just like Chen, Tusk, TA Snowball. You know, it's. I don't know if there's anything I can do with the information that I know about Liquid. It's just more about us. This tournament's about us and us playing the lineups and the heroes that we feel confident in. Of course, we need to like counterpick at times, but I think what it comes down to is playing well and having faith in what we're trying to build. And
Staying focused and playing your own game. Heen, thank you so much.
thank you.
Good luck. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Casey. Yes, game 2 of TNC versus Liquid. We heard what the draft panel had said, and both Febby and Carl make some really good points. Some good calls. Indeed, the last 2 picks being the Bristleback and the anti-mage for TNC and Liquid, respectively. Kind of want to get your insight. The main sort of discussion topic was Bristleback. Can you play it in a game where there's a Shadow Demon?
So I think Shadow Demon, I totally agree with Fabi. I think Shadow Demon is an incredibly good hero versus Bristleback, but I have to, unfortunately, give Kyle a little bit of credit because there is the Oracle. That Fortune's End can be one of those things to always be able to dispel that Soul Catcher, and you can itemize for it as well. So we will probably see Gabby at some point in this game go for something like a Lotus Orb to make sure, something like that to make sure that he can always be sure to dispel that one off. But it's not always you're going to have the situation where you have Fortune's End up or you're in the right position to go for that Gabby. So that's where it can go a little bit of both ways. But yeah, Soul Catcher, very good ability versus Bristle. We have some other fun interactions, of course, too, with this Oracle versus Shadow Demon. There's some mixed between some teams, how Shadow Demon, if you Demonic Purge the target that does get False Promised, that target can't get healed by, you can't get healed by Urn, Healing Salve, your Fate's Edict constantly gets purged as it constantly keeps applying that Dispel. So we could see that come into play as well.
And what do you think about this last pick? The anti-mage coming in, not necessarily a carry that sort of brings us a free win or a necessarily safe carry, but in the right circumstances, it could be pretty darn hard to deal with. Is this going to be a game where you can see Miracle popping off and getting that good Battle Fury timing?
I could, as long as they don't get run over. I think that's the one thing that TNC's draft can really start to take advantage is just steamrolling, getting towers pushed, Gabby just parking himself running at lanes with the Death Prophet pushing towers constantly. Even Bristleback hits towers pretty hard. Once you get your Warpath stacks, you really do start to chunk those down. So it can be a little bit difficult, but I could see it possible. Anti-Mage somehow at TI always starts to come back, right? People are like, dead hero, Battle Fury's crap, not a good item, blah, blah, blah. Somehow this hero slowly trickles back every single one of these internationals.
And one of those heroes as well that we've seen trickle into this game, but not into a lot, is that Underlord. Mind control, getting the Underlord in this match. I feel this hero is a little underpicked. There's some aspects of this hero that seem incredibly strong, especially that aura, right? And has that bit of bonus as well. This hero turns into a bit of a right clicker down the line.
He definitely does. And I mean, I remember we had one at the tournament. We had a mid Underlord, didn't we? And that just dominated the game, just took over. I think destroyed like a Templar Assassin in the matchup. So I'm also surprised not to see this hero picked a little bit more too, especially with like Monkey Kings and Ursas being very, very scarcely picked. But we're gonna get to see it. And now they have another thing too. They have maybe that percent damage amped onto the Bristleback as well that they do have from that Underlord. So could be fun to watch. Good to see if Liquid's able to actually rally around that one.
See how some of the lane matchups are going so far. That mid lane, Armo getting the slight lead off the first few waves. Bottom lane, Kuro's going to go for the self-disruption, but TNC, they've got the 3 heroes ready to finish him as he comes back out of his bubble. First blood for TNC off the back of this aggressive tri-lane.
And they're getting themselves a very good matchup up top, this Bristleback versus the Underlord. Underlord's just getting pushed completely back by Gabby for now.
Yeah, mind control just about a quill spray away from dying there.
Yep.
It's got to be very, very careful as Gabby will head over, pick up the bottle from the side shop.
I like that actually a lot. Bristol, he's making sure to spam so much that you can pick up this bottle and it's just fine in this type of 1v1 matchup. You're able to out-sustain very nicely as Weehaw. They're committing forward here.
And they're going to look for the dive. They've got the hold from AU. Crypt Swarm burst and a right click. Is it enough? He's diving for this AU. He's going to find him. Can he get off the Fade Bolt? Reducing AU's right click. Doesn't matter. He gets the second one in and will still find the kill. GH will look to chase. See if he can get his way out of this. He's got a little bit of a heal going. Again, another root holding back GH. He's certainly making him work for it.
Nice little play. GH does have boots and a lift, so it should inevitably be an easy kill here.
Let's pop it in the south. That is a south cancelled. It still continues to keep AU alive. Weehaw will come in though, and that will be a dead Oracle and also a dead healing cell. So a little bit of lost gold there for AU.
Weehaw gets the last hit though. That's the nice thing. But we see these lanes. very dominant right now already from TNC, the way they have it set up. Anti-Mage is still farming, though, which is the most important thing for Liquid. But yeah, these other three, Gabby just really taking advantage of this top matchup versus Mind Control.
It's Bristol.
Bristle.
Suddenly going to be able to start running down heroes very soon and even diving that top lane if Mind Control's not too careful.
Especially with AU up here right now, right? With a Fortune's End, a couple goos, Mind Control definitely could get chased out. He has to be careful of his positioning on this Underlord.
Bottom lane Liquid just trying to keep the mana low on Cuckoo so the harass cannot be there against Miracle.
Yeah, keep a tri-lane. I think this is what you tend to see when there's an anti-mage in the game. As we were saying, top lane.
Gonna have a bit of a shot here. He can TP. But yeah, no hesitation there from Mind Control. Instantly knows he has to get himself out of that situation.
So other thing panel talked about a little bit, but the limited disable on TNC, right? That's why you can see why Liquid, not only just because there's a high intelligence hero like that Death Prophet on the side of TNC, but just look at the stuns coming out for TNC. It is going to be pretty limited unless they go for something like an Atos, which they probably will on either the support Mirana or somebody else. They also at least have silence as well for Armel, but their catch could be a little bit difficult in that mid game if they allow Miracle to actually get away with the game and get some farm going. But right now, it's looking really solid for them. This is exactly what TNC wants to do. Like Heen said in their in that interview too, they were a little bit too calm in that last game. I think this game, they're really going to turn up the heat.
Certainly these first 5 minutes just is being cranked up. See if they can get themselves a hold of the 5-minute runes, see how they're going to get split up as both teams are going to try and prepare. TNC is looking a little more prepared, especially on top. They'll grab those two with the setup. See a swing round from the Rubik, looking towards bottom, but in fact, a little too slow for them. It's TNC, then we have to pick up the 3, still that one on their own half of the map, which won't be looked towards by Liquid, so eventually they'll probably get all 4. Bottom lane, jump forward for Tims with the Starstorm. Kuro's got the stick charges that will save him. Miracle's hunting under the trees for Cuckoo. Cuckoo with the Jukes, trying to get himself out of there. Pots the stick charges, but they're suddenly going to end up with giving more mana for Miracle to burn. And Miracle doesn't even need to get the last hit in there. GH and Kuro beat down on Cuckoo and get him out of the lane.
They're trying so hard to just secure Miracle's lane. He's even picked up like a Wraith Band early on so he can have better lane positioning for that anti-mage too as top. We see these goos start to build up, but they don't want to dive into the tower under that Firestorm. Level 3 Firestorm now already. And Mind Controls are covered. I mean, he still is having a tough matchup, but he's still 25-3. That's pretty decent for the Underlord in that matchup. There's still a bounty rune bottom. I think Tim's actually walked by it. I don't think he bought his bottle from the secret shop too. And he should have. I mean, he had a full bottle, so maybe he didn't want to just. Okay. But it's just gonna be chilling there, so he'll be able to fill it back up when he gets back up.
I guess it's unlikely that Liquid's gonna randomly go and scout that position. Mid lane is gonna be where Liquid look towards. They need to help We Are out. He's suffering heavily in this matchup. With the 3 of them in the neighborhood, they'll look for Armel. Armel's still alive, tries to turn with the Siphon, but they will have the burst damage to bring him down. Tim's not there, or AU quite in time to help out Armel. A very important kill. You look at that CS in the mid lane, it was 35-16 against 24 for 4. Armel having a sizable advantage, with that kill opening up for some very early pressure onto TNC's tier 1 mid.
There's no glyph. That's at that tower. They want to commit forward for it, but he is starting to drop low, and they will TP a couple more heroes forward.
They threaten a TP from Gabby to hold off, but as you say, a lot of damage done very early on in mid.
Tims will get his bottle refilled by Armel TPing in, so he's going to be able to keep moving. Oh, they actually did not refill the bottle. Whoops. Armel did not have an inventory slot there for Tims. Tims might have to back away and try to find that bounty rune if he doesn't know it's there.
Because it's still there.
It's still there.
Tims,
check it out.
Come up. There's money to be made. I'm sure he'll see on the way back towards bottom.
Yep, and now another rotation bottom. Weehawk this time with the SD. Easy setup, an easy kill onto Cuckoo.
No trouble killing a Tide when Leshrak's in town.
SD Lesh. Reason we are seeing it across the majority of the games. Easy to set up kills constantly. Kuroki even putting extra points in the Soul Catcher.
A bounty rune.
He's gonna
Still
get
there.
it. He's gonna get it.
Come on, Tims.
Tims?
He's not. There we go. Finally, he's oh, this is still it.
He shrined as well too. He shrined and then he gets it.
Oh, Gabby. We'll get the kill on Mind Control. Always going to be one of those lanes where you have to watch out for that. This Mind Control Underlord very vulnerable to the armor reduction and chase of the Bristol back in lanes.
And just the sheer right-click damage, right? That's what we're talking about with the Warpath. You get that 15% faster and those 22 damage per stack. So plus 124 on Gabby when he was diving there.
Yeah, Miracle starting to get the basics into his inventory. Ring of Hell stun, so pressure will be kind of harder to put onto Miracle if it's just the tide lone already. We've seen Miracle do a good job of getting the CS. It's been slowed down a little bit by Cuckoo's presence. Tim's also hovering around in the area, but Miracle, he's hitting the levels.
Yeah.
And he's hitting a good enough timing with those early items.
It's not on Gabby's level, of course, because Gabby's had to, he's been like stacking constantly. He had this super good matchup versus the Underlord, but still not too bad for Miracle. This is where TNC, though, this is still great positioning for them. Like we said, they have to keep this map and keep this game very aggressive.
On the hunt here for Tims. Scan out from Liquid will confirm that Tims is still around as Tims.
Starts his TP.
And he's going to hide in the trees. Kuro.
A little bit of a stare down.
He's not going to look for him. So Tims will be hiding. I guess they almost certainly saw his TP start. He's going to jump out.
He's got one more leap. They're still stalking him.
That's the setup. See if, no, Weehar's already left. So it's just the two of them playing around with Tims. They'll slowly kill him.
They're going to find him.
They know he's in there.
Oh.
I mean, surely they know he's in there. They saw him lead this way.
Oh, let's look in the mid lane. Well,
it's a lot of time wasted. Yeah, back to hitting the creeps, Miracle. Mid lane tower just finally get pushed down by Weehar. And Tims will live.
That's some space right there for sure.
Yeah.
And now he can still position him for some arrows too, position himself, but his leap is now back online too. So he can actually start doing something and have an impact on the map as well.
Oh, he's looking for an arrow, but that's a creep wave coming in.
He'll take it. 37 gold.
Hey, it's, you know, it's accidental steal of the CS from Cuckoo's like, oh, was that me? Sorry, Cuckoo.
Support Miranas, right? They're like, yeah, I didn't mean to.
I didn't mean to hit the
I didn't mean to, I swear.
I didn't mean to take that CS.
Oops, took another range creep.
Just trying to hit the carry.
Kuroki setting up deep vision. This is the protection ward. This ward that Kuroki sets up here is the one where it's like they're gonna set up for smokes or moonlight shadows from behind the tier 2 to try to kill Miracle, and this is where we'll try to spot it out. And it's an unexpected ward this early on, so it's a nice one that he is able to put down that TNC is not gonna be aware of at all.
I'm not saying that again. That's all 4 bounty wins going TNC's way once more.
Yeah.
They're making a lot of money from these bounties. Keeping themselves with this 2K gold lead, TNC.
It really is up to Weehaw to be the one to just like run around with his team to look to set up for those bounty wins, because Underlord and Anti-Mage, these heroes, they're not online. They're going to take such a long time to be able to really do any kind of impact in that fashion. As Mind Control, he's got his like phase boots and stuff finished up, but it's going to be tough for him to really make moves around the map, as that's not really what an Underlord does. He kind of just parks himself in front of a lane until he has more points in that pit.
Yeah, Miracle having to be a little bit careful on that bottom lane as the ghost push comes in from Armel, Kuro.
They're pushing two lanes at the same time right now with this siege creep.
This is the speed and pace that he wanted to see.
Yep.
It's coming out from them this time, TNC.
Yeah, they're playing versus an anti-mage draft. All you want to do is just keep the fight, close the map, restrict the map, and keep the aggression going. But Weehaw, he's also doing something sneaky. Look at that mid lane. He actually gets a full edict inside the tree line there. Chunks the tower down 1,200 health. So they're getting a little bit of a trade, at least for themselves. But TNC pressuring 2 lanes, like we were saying.
I won't quite find the tier 1 bottom, but they do get the tier 1 top. Gabby's farm continue to skyrocket ahead of any other core on the map right now.
And we see the item that's immediately queued up by him. Hood into first item Lotus Orb. He knows he needs to just address the Soul Catcher. Also very good for his teammates, too. But mainly for himself as he switches first now. He will buy the Medallion. I think the Medallion also has its great merits. You can just look to pressure and close the map up and then go to Roche. Gives you that Roche always as well with the goo.
They'll finish that tower down bottom. And you know, as soon as Gabby took the tier 1 top, he moves himself to the bottom lane. He says, you know, we can start being really aggressive with this power that he's built up. He's level 11. He knows there's not really much that Liquid can do to touch him right now.
There's going to be a lot of dodging around the map from Liquid for quite a while in this game.
Let's try the setup on mid. Kuro. He's going to be able to find it. We are. Stun timing's hit with ease. Tims is found. GH wants to actually finish off that kill. Kuro up to the high ground. He's going to spot out Cuckoo. This is not a fight that Liquid want to try and take, especially with Gabby around. Demonic Purge from Kuroki will come out to hold the Bristleback back. Make sure that Kuro has the space to escape.
This is the trio, like we said, Liquid. They're gonna run around as 3, look to make kills. The other 2, they're just gonna, look, Mind Control is pretty much just gonna be pushing out lanes for the majority of this one. And Miracle is just trying to soak the space to get this battle period in decent timing. So TNC, they gotta keep this pressure going. They have to keep looking to make these moves onto the side of Liquid. And they will. They do not want to slow down at all in this game.
The next target's almost certainly gonna be the middle. Getting ready to push round Gabby once more, level 12. Gabby continues to farm up those stacks, those jungle camps to keep himself so far ahead. Same importance to be noted the way of Armel, looking at that exorcism. He's got it ready to push with once more. Gabby is by his side.
Has anyone actually queued up the Atos? It looks like just Yules is going to be the choice here for both Tims as well as Armel. So no Atos to go for that like extra catch. Of course, it's pretty easy. Just click counterspell for an anti-mage, but going to be a little bit limited on their disables, but they still will have those silences if they can find the AM in the side.
Yeah, I mean, no, that's very true, yeah. Rod against AM is... I feel like it's good against bad AMs, right?
Yeah.
Against good AMs, the chance that projectile's hitting him without pressing E is pretty slim. Unless you're able to sort of get it through a tree line or get it from out of the AM's vision. Yules being that instant setup could certainly be what allows the DP to get on top of him with the silence.
Yeah, or just the arrow connecting in, or yeah.
A lot of ways to time it. The TNC's very, very strong with the execution, as we've seen many times. So inside the jungle, Gabby starting to poke. Liquid's going to have a little bit of a look towards him. Moonlight Shadow will be used to try and get him out, but the sentry's down. They've got the vision. He's going to head over, provide some of the backup that's going to allow him to turn. In fact, with Kuko as well, Mind Control's in trouble. They're straight on top of the Underlord. Armel kept just alive in time by that false promise as he falls so low. But AU there, able to save kind of both of his cores, giving the backup required for Gabby to go in, as well as allowing Armel to pop off on the high ground. Excellent Oracle play.
35 HP. He was one hit from dying there.
He had both of them.
Oh,
he had his eyes everywhere. He was making sure that nobody gets ignored on his team.
Well, he's a platinum tier Oracle, right? He's got level like 20 Oracle.
He's saving everyone.
This guy plays his Oracle. And yeah, perfectly set up there to get that defense, and now they'll transition into another tower, and we're gonna see map being constricted. That's the style that TNC wants to play in this game. Keep running at Liquid as we see. They do not have damage for that Bristleback. Even when they had him isolated for quite a few seconds with that Soul Catcher, he still was able to be just fine.
See what we are. So he's got the damage to kill Tims in time. The jump out, we'll say no that he doesn't, and Tims tries to turn, does miss the arrow. Might not matter, and certainly doesn't if Kuku's willing to expend the Ravage like that. Pops it down straight away, and Weeha is taken down for his attempts. Hello, everybody. Hope you're enjoying the stream. We love you. Back to the game, please. Thank you. Thank you.
Great setup there. I think using Ravage in this type of game, with the slow pace that it is, just kill a core, right? Just Ravage a core. It's going to be worth it most of the time. Miracle is starting to get close to that Battle Fury, about 740 gold away from it. So they haven't been able to find him, at least. That's the good thing. Yep. The silver lining there for Liquid, but look at the rest. 6K gold advantage. All of TNC looking really, really comfortable with the game, how it's been going so far, and they're going to keep putting the pressure on. Even without Ravage, they will look to keep running at the side of Liquid as they... Exorcism's about to be up in about 30 seconds. Smoke's already being prepped.
Let's see what they can do. This is a excellent timing, really, across the board from TNC. I don't think they could have hoped for a better start to this.
Yeah, it looks...
They're doing everything they needed to. They're making all the moves that are required. It's sort of on Liquid now to slow this all down. They find the catch inside of the jungle. Liquid looking towards Tims. They missed the combo, though, and Tims is able to jump away a couple of times. Moonlight Shadow's out. He's going to try and do his best to keep him safe as he's out of vision. He's out of sight. Tims is out of the way. AU will get left behind for his attempt there to save Tims, but Tims will be eternally grateful. Great play there, I believe, purging off the dust, making sure he could get out with that invis.
That was really interesting, too. He got the leap, like, mid-Underlord animation. He was actually rooted after the leap.
That can happen.
That was actually pretty cool.
A similar sort of mechanic, right, as the Sand King Burrow Strike.
Yeah.
Once you've got that movement going, you're still in the area, so you can still be caught out by stuns and such, but your body will be propelled to safety.
Yep. That keeps him alive, and they're going to keep looking to constrict that map. You see that Lotus Orb, that big item that Gabby wants in this game is now picked up. So Soul Catcher, not going to be as much of an issue for himself, at least. And it looks like ultis are pretty much at the ready. You can see they're waiting for at least that Death Prophet ulti to come back online before they put too much pressure. And we see Liquid. If you look at their wards in the map, that's how they want to play. They're just like, all right, we're not, like, Chris, the river is not... Don't cross the river. Miracle, you can blink past the river and maybe farm the jungle, but for the time being, crossing the river is a bit of a fearsome one. Weeha wants to poke here. He may be trying to get some damage here on this bottom tower. And it looks like they're just going to force the Rosh instead of looking for another tower. Tier 2s are too far.
There's no. I think even if Liquid know that this is going on,
they cannot fight this.
They're not going over here anytime soon.
No,
this is
pretty crazy of them to try to take this fight versus TNC.
This is a free Roche, free ages for TNC without a doubt.
Weeha's taking good advantage of this, though. They've identified they're doing Roche. He's trying to get as much structural damage as possible. They're going to glyph the wave, though, ensuring that he cannot actually push much further.
And they poke up for a little bit of action, see if they can find GH Gabby. Oh, he's going to be able to get the snot on him.
But the leaps
will allow GH to prance himself to safety.
TNC not even... Okay, they don't have wards, that's why. I was like, they're not actually putting any deep vision down to watch where the anti-mage is jungling right now. They've actually only placed river wards as well, but we see from this control that they've been able to have 6-6, but they've been very well at moving around the map.
All right, timing set up there, perfect for Tims, but the disruption comes out from Kuro. Keep We Are safe, and maybe even allow for a bit of a turnaround as AU. He's had a fantastic game so far, but getting caught massively out of position there on the front lines and between the members of Liquid. That's going to be a dead oracle for 20 seconds.
And Mind Control, again, as we say, they try to take any types of opportunities where they can cross past that river and force the waves as far as possible from their base. So TNC has a harder time of making the move.
Arrow on arrow action here. GH is just going to be the one that connects.
And look how long it lasts. Armel is now unstunned.
That's a long time. That wasn't even the max stun, right?
It was not.
Gotta watch out for those Rubik arrows buffed up by the old arcane supremacy.
Yeah, you know, just a nice 9-second arrow or something could come out.
Is that the maps?
No, it's less than that. But
do the maps. Okay. It's less than that.
It's like 7.5.
36% of 5 on top of 5.
It's like 7.
7. Yeah, what's it? 7 seconds.
We'll round up.
Yeah. Just to simplify it for the viewers, you know.
Miracle, he's spotted. They're actually hunting for him this time here. They have both heroes with the Yule Scepters possessed around him.
Oh, mid lane, what's going on?
Oh.
Nope. So a bit of a cancel of TP there, I believe. Like Abby. See if we can find this up top there. They're trying, but Miracle, he's over to the camp. They do ping it. They know that he's gone for the greed.
They get the
he's jumped up here. It's a little far away. Can they get on top of him? An arrow does fly through.
I think that was
actually GH's anyway, so was just being flown through defensively in case anyone was trying to get on top of Miracle. But hey, they achieved what they wanted. Push him away, push onto the tower. Same time though, Liquid, they're getting objectives themselves. So you've got to watch out and be aware of this. Lesh is pushing powers. We Are takes that tier 2 with the help of Mind Control. They're actually pushing up towards the base on the bottom lane. So for as fast as TNC's playing, they're actually getting a lot of pressure brought back their way by this Leshrac.
Yeah, pretty much like perfect moves we see by Liquid, at least in response to that. They see 3-4 heroes set up top. They're like, hey, we have opportunities to go for like the Ratto, to go for the split push that they need to do it so they can keep getting this farm. And Mind Control pretty much has Solar Crest finished up, so buffing up the AM. It's all about the anti-mage that they're going to be looking to throw everything onto Miracle. And now Miracle, we mentioned some things could be problematic for him. You know, the silence in particular. He almost has the Manta done. Have to be concerned here for TNC. This AM is getting online.
With that Manta, Miracle, I mean, he only sort of dies if he makes mistakes. We have seen Miracle make some mistakes this TI, so, you know, don't write that off. It may still happen, but as you say, once he has the Manta, it should be a pretty free map for the AM to jump around and keep the farm up high. Obviously, there's still that danger of the pushes coming in and the AM being forced to retaliate to the aggression of TNC, but for the most part, if the game stays at a state where We Are is able to push out these lanes and shove them out as far as he can to make sure that TNC cannot get this 5-man push together down a lane, space is going to be there for AM to jump around the map very safely.
Exactly. I mean, that's literally what they've been doing for the last, like, pretty much the whole game, right? Just Mind Control in one lane, Weehaw in the other one, push it out as far as possible so TNC cannot group up and go for their game-ending play, which we could see them start to set up for here. BKB is finished for Armel. They do want to start really pressing that advantage, try to get these tier 2s, because Liquid, they're getting away with a lot here in this game.
This should be, with the numbers that they have, a very quick kill onto Mind Control. They'll even blow the Ravage for this one. Mind Control found, arrows out to Kuro in the jungle as they'll get both of the pickoffs. Instant TP's up top and the jump forward Tims. He's got the setup for another. Yule's up onto Weehaw, turn with the Yule's onto the Tide, but AU's ready to chase, so's Tims. They'll try and purge up Tims to try and get that root. He won't be able to quite get on top of Weehaw. Arrow's actually going to miss Weehaw with the cheeky sidestep, but TNC, they've got the numbers. 4 of them are up. Another Yules throws him up. Weehaw is surrounded, and they will deal with the push. That threat, that pressure we talked about, both the Underlord and the Leshrac, they're now out of the game.
Yep, and now they're just looking to push down the lanes as much. But Gabby was also chasing Miracle around, actually gooing him, and just keep chasing him when he was trying to cut the creep waves. So this is that timing. TNC, they have to make a lot happen. They cannot allow Anti-Mage to keep up this split push.
Anti-Mage Miracle, he is getting close, I'd say, to sort of being able to have a bit of a look into the fights, right? Especially once he has the Skadi, at least a component of it. He's going to have good stats to fight with at this stage. Aegis will now expire, but they'll keep the push going, and a tier 2 tower in the mid will fall. TNC take another objective and hold on to that 4K lead.
Miracle is farming under vision here. And they actually try to get the setup. Tim's really trying to get some Yules into arrow setup, but unable to. Miracle, he's soon he's gonna pass that #1 net worth pretty soon.
He is, and he's, at this point where there's one tier 2 left to be taken, there's no longer sort of that free money on the map for the push lineup like TNC. The high ground push, that's going to be sort of the next level of difficulty for them. So no longer can they rely on those objectives to keep themselves sort of an item ahead across the cores. The map's going to be open. AM's going to get that farm. Bottom lane, setups there, they'll catch out Tims. Miracle gets himself involved. In fact, he's the one to get the last touch. Level 18 on Miracle, and he has the money for the first ulti orb into that Skadi.
Pretty traditional smoke that we see there, right? The smoke from your base to your carry. We see teams do that so often, just trying to set up in case maybe Miracle's going to get ganked or something like that. They make sure to sweep the area, and now they can even keep continuing to transition this into a push. Weeha, threatening always, and TNC has to respond.
Do have all the ingredients for a good defense. Cuckoo's Ravage back up in less than 10.
Gabby's just running through into all 5 heroes. He has no fear right now.
And they're having to get away from him as well. Liquid don't want to try and deal with this Bristleback just yet. At least when Liquid are being unnecessarily offensive. They know that they don't need to try and force it. They've just got to try and make sure the TNC are the ones on the defensive.
They just got to dance around him, right? Pretty much in the fights as well. They're just going to have to dance around the Bristleback for a while because they don't have great solutions if he's not completely isolated. If he's completely isolated, sure, they can look for something, but...
Chase setups here. Look for Tims. Timing's going to be off from Weeha, and that's going to allow the chance for Tims to get out with the Moonlight. He'll sneak off in the shadows, and Liquid won't find the kill.
Gabby, look at him. He's really trying to get aggressive. They want to catch something here. He has a DD. They get the silence. This is so much physical damage that's coming in.
Underlord just gets absolutely shredded.
400 damage right now with this DD rune. The waves, though. Look at Liquid. There's no creeps here, TNC.
Bottom lane, top lane, and as you say, the mid lane. Even with no heroes in at the moment, Liquid had already had the momentum covered before that Underlord was chased down. TNC, the pushing is getting a lot harder for them as Liquid are more than able to make sure the creeps are never in position for TNC to take their tempo to the next pace.
Weeha, they want to go for blood here. As they know, Liquid's getting too much time to farm on the map. They really want to catch Weeha, but that's a boot to travel with a 15 movement speed talent, 30 movement speed talent as well. No way you're catching this Slash. Super speedy. And just continue to push in the side lanes. Now GH can do his own flip push too with the Starstorm. See him just clearing out those waves instantly. Definitely feeling concerned for TNC. This anti-mage.
Timing is falling down and sort of out of their control for TNC.
They're going to have to do a big miraculous push here with the Aegis and the Cheese and just make sure that AM can't actually fight directly into all 5 heroes, but they have to make sure that they can keep their side lanes pushed in. They're unable to reduce. Oh, the arrow.
Good little snipe of GH in the trees for Tims. Tims will let's close the gap, but GH is able to get out with the blink down. No instance of damage upon him in time to stop him from making that getaway.
Yeah, Tim's got a little spooked when he saw the AM illusion, thinking it could be real.
27 minutes in, 8 to 10. Definitely sort of the kills that, as that anti-mage, you're looking at the top and being very happy with the state of the game.
You look at anti-mage, 330 last, it's 1-0 and 2.
Yep.
He is getting uncontested farm. He's just blinking around the map freely, and they're not able to get the ward coverage to actually watch him. We've been seeing TNC, they've been getting de-warded quite a lot from Kuroki. He actually got 2 of the recent observer wards, and he's just been moving around the map all over the place getting them. Just keeping it Miracle safe to farm up the map and then just keep split pushing the side. So they have great reads on the map from how TNC wants to play. TNC, it's pretty telltale how they want to be moving. Grouping up, going for the push all the time. So just keep split pushing. But that Roche, like we said, the next thing big on the menu for TNC. And still contesting fights, 5v5 fights from Liquid is still going to be quite difficult. when Exorcism is already popped, and they have the front line as the BKBs are there to protect versus the mana burn for Armel, as well as, I believe, Gabby also bought a BKB. So I think maybe this is double BKB timing, get Aegis cheese, end the game for TNC. I think they really want to force the issue here and try to end it before Miracle's able to do any more of these shenanigans.
Let's talk about this a bit. Well, Tim's, he's just picked up a Blink Dagger on the Mirana, so he is just going all in on getting the Blink Yule setup.
Catch, yeah. He needs to try to be the one to catch. That is what it seems. They have to try to catch the split push somehow, and Tim seems to be thinking this is the best solution before he can get something like a Hex, which is he just queues up immediately right afterwards. So they need other ways to catch this anti-mage's mind control. Will get easily brought down here.
And back to being able to grab some of those objectives. Roshan, Cheese on Armel, Aegis on Gabby, and a dead Underlord. Top lane Miracle.
That actually hits the real one.
I've got the setup with that stun. TP's coming in, but Miracle's already out into the trees and will make the retreat. TNC, it's all about these next few minutes of gameplay. They've got to do something with this Aegis and Cheese. Top lane, Weeha is trying to fight for this. He is on his own. He does want to look for this sort of solo pickup potential, but backups in town for Tim. Zay is around, and Weeha now has to just get out of there.
He's just way too speedy. Even with that Blink Dagger, they can't catch up to him. And also, he has BKB the whole time. BKB to TP out would be probably just easy enough for him to get away.
Can they get this push together?
Both really not letting them every time.
Yeah, they're just constantly the side lanes are always pushed onto TNC's half of the map. So they can do this. They can go all in on the middle. But if it's not a massively successful siege attempt, if they don't get sort of the racks, the mid lanes are going to start knocking at their own tier 3s.
They have a creep wave in the mid lane. This is what we were saying. This might just be the GG push that they're trying to do here. Exorcism pop. They got the Aghanims, the Cheese, the Aegis. They have to get something taken down here for them.
Let's see what they can get. One of the pluses, we did see Tim's was able to cancel the TP of Weeha, so Weeha can't get back.
Weeha cannot get back. 20 seconds.
20 seconds. 20 seconds on the bots.
They're full split pushing.
And they're fighting through the backdoor protection. They're nearly actually getting that tier 3 tower. They won't quite. The rest of Liquid will be able to push them back.
They're getting 2 towers here.
Yeah, this is the problem.
Oh my god.
This is the problem, TNC. They weren't able to really get this push together early on, and now it's very vulnerable to these sort of rat plays occurring. Weeha is out with the BKB TP. And the game now in a bit of a worrying state for TNC as the question has, it has to be asked, have TNC missed their timing?
It could feel like that at this point. They still have lots of damage that they can deal and go down, but Miracle, how the hell are they gonna kill this anti-mage? Now a full BKB finished as well. Uh-oh, TNC.
It says it's 50-50 on the win probability. I mean, I guess, Gaben still really sees that chance of TNC being able to run down mid and just, I guess, taking that tier 3, maybe even just going straight tier 4s and Ancients before Liquid's able to react or take the side lanes. But you look at this anti-mage and you say, well, Miracle, he can go for the rat plays, but he can also turn up to the fights.
Yeah, he can start turning up to the fights for sure. It really does. It does feel like Liquid have the better control in the game so far here now. Even though TNC, they have Aegis and Cheese, they have to make something big happen. They're gonna smoke. They're gonna try to keep forcing this issue. Right now, they're gonna be parking Gabby actually bottom, so they can have two lanes at least pushing in, so they don't have to worry about some split push where they lose their mid lane creep wave. They'll at least have a bottom wave too. But immediately, Liquid, they're not gonna allow that. They're gonna start trying to fight.
Straight in on mid onto Tim's. The Tim's is gone. We'll look towards Armel's. Soul Catcher brings him low. Pot the BKB. The Miracle's on top of him. He'll pop the Cheese. He's back up to full. He's trying to keep himself alive with the Spirit Siphons. Miracle's just staying on top of the target. Is there any save for Armel? He's going to try and turn with the silent self-fuels as he'll get himself up in the air. Healing up the stuns out from Weeha. BKB's out. False Promise will keep Armel alive for a little bit, but the Mana Void's going to do serious amounts of damage. Miracle staying on them. Ravage comes out for Cuckoo. TNC looking for the turnaround, but they've lost Armel. They'll get Weeha. Can they get Miracle? He's too tanky and will be easily able to blink back out of the fight. Gabby, he's out of mana, but he's still punching into Kuro in mind control. He says, boys, it's time to go home. Kuro's not coming home tonight, though. Will be mind control on his own, rifting away. Miracle straight back into the mid, keeping that pressure on. So the fact that Liquid have lost 2, in fact, he's nearly turning and bringing down Tim's and Gabby with him, will finally fall. So they get the 3 kills, TNC. But as you see, they get the kills. The Tims had to buy back. The gold lead, it's still growing for Liquid. And again, look at those creep waves. Despite the fact that TNC have killed 3, without their Death Prophet alive, it's very unlikely they're going to be able to do anything with this time.
Yeah, as soon as they're chasing chasing GH, and Miracle's already blinking away, going for the creep waves. He knows the priority in this game. Just don't ever let them hit your base. And they're not really letting TNC get to that. And we saw the Iascati coming into play there. We see why Miracle picked it up versus these BKBs that TNC were getting. He can just keep the chase on.
Oh, he can, and we saw he was just blinking into the high ground next to a tie, gets ravaged. At this point, it doesn't really matter. The AM, he's out of control.
Yeah, he is absolutely out of control, and they do not have that straight physical damage to do him. Sure, like, Bristleback can deal that hard physical damage, but he's not something like you're like some super physical hero that just like really will just stick on him and kill him, like you see like the Lifesteers, the Basher, Slark, or something like that. Someone who can really just bring it to him. Yeah, Liquid now with a very good control of this game, and they're just keeping the lanes always pushed in.
So hard for TNC to make a play. Their lineup really was all drafted around those early pushes. They did a good job of taking over control of the map early on, but they couldn't quite shut down the Anti-Mage's farm, and now they have some huge problems to deal with.
I mean, Miracle he's just like, I'm just gonna just keep farming. That's all he really needs to do in this game. Keep farming. 2-0-3, almost 500 last hits at this 34-minute mark. And all they want is this game to go late for Liquid.
Every minute on that clock becomes more and more painful for TNC.
We really now we start seeing that tick start happening. Of course, in the Dota Plus, it's really starting to feel that Anti-Mage's pressure. It's up to a 62% from that 50-50. Once that Aegis and once Armel does die, the Aegis gets reclaimed. And did they actually end up using the cheese as well?
Oh, they did. Armel.
Yeah, he ended up using it as well on top. So they've used pretty much everything. And Liquid, they just keep this push, keep the split push. We are now taking out shrines, it looks like. TNC just running around trying to catch pretty much anything. It's a game of cat and mouse. Liquid really is just controlling the map way better here.
Not being caught out either. Into the trees, instant TPs down to the wave down bottom.
And Miracle just, keeps blinking around just freely. Even when right now, they're starting to have an idea of where he is. But he's jumping in. Hey, you quickly has to glimmer himself.
Miracle's just hitting the shrine alone.
Right in the middle of them.
What can they do? What can they do about this Anti-Mage?
He's got BKB.
He forces AU.
Oh, he gets arrow though after the use.
Do they have the damage? There's a disruption that's going to be able to buy him time. Kuro giving Miracle more than enough chance to pop that BKB and get out of there. Kuro will die for trying to save Miracle and of course succeeding.
That was, I mean, Kuroki's positioning there was phenomenal. They even saw him and he's still able to get that perfect disruption. Whew, Miracle definitely looking like he would have gotten brought down there from all that damage.
And it's also, you know, Armel did pop the Ghost in the hope that they would have the control to lock Miracle down. So Ghosts aren't going to be there for TNC to even think about making a play around.
And Ravage. They used both of their big long cooldown ultimates and weren't able to find this. Now Weehaw is immediately when TNC starts splitting up, he finds an opportunity for a kill. He doesn't have a TP available. He has BKB, so he will be able to just run away.
They just can't get a hold of any of these heroes, TNC.
No, they cannot. And
only the supports getting picked off, and in situations where they do not mind dying at all. Level 25 on Anti-Mage. It's got that extra counter spell, magic resistance. So I don't know how TNC. This looks like an impossible game for TNC right now.
It really is. It's been feeling like that for quite a while
against
now.
them.
Liquid just addressing the split push. They're just constantly pushing those side lanes out the whole game. It really did feel like it was 36 or like 29 minutes where TNC had some like control running around the map, but Liquid just constantly pushing the sides. And you can tell they're probably feeling the same way. They're probably like, this Anti-Mage is just out of control. The Loom and Gloom. We always, I know a lot of pros, a lot of players have always said it when you're playing versus like these Anti-Mages and Medusas and stuff, when they're just like off the map the majority of the game, the back of your mind, you're just thinking about it constantly. You're uh-oh. That ticking time bomb.
AM farm rising. Cuckoo, it's got eyes on him. Miracle, he'll turn. Cuckoo has to pop the BKB and head back. Liquid, they've got the full team here ready to fight. This time they're not messing around, they're ready to start some action. Oh, Abby will start to look for the lead in, gets himself on top of Kuro. Kuro should be the first to fall. With the stolen Ravage. As Miracle locks down onto Armel, they will lose Kuroki, but Miracle's going to start to pick apart the backline as jumps forward up to the high ground for the chase. Mind control and Weehaw burning down Cuckoo. Gabby trying to commit for a kill with this BKBs onto mind control.
Oh, the
stolen false promise.
Wow.
GH making sure the mind control can get himself out alive. Miracle and We Are turn to get themselves on top of Gabby, beginning to burn down the mana. Miracle's over to look towards Tims. Self-heals by sometimes for Tims. He's back down. Armel has got the ghost, but there's already Tims dead. AU as well. It's a buyback from Cuckoo. Can they get any kills out of this? They have found We Are. We Are will fall. So TNC are able to find a pretty big kill, taking the Leshrac out, but still...
Such a costly one. A buyback from Cuckoo.
Yep. And Miracle's reign continues in this game where they cannot do anything about the anti-mage.
GH having a little bit of a showcase right there, having that Stone Ravage from earlier, then also blinking and stealing the false promise. Some clutch little plays there from him, but Miracle just continuing to keep this split push and keep himself in such a great spot. Looking to pressure Gabby a little bit here. Can't kill him, but get rid of that mana.
I mean,
how does TNC do it?
Is there any sort of item you can look at TNC's lineup and say, well, this combination might at least give them a chance of killing this AM? Because obviously once they do, it's going to be a lot of money. And hey, we've all seen those games where it looks seemingly impossible to lose. This AM free farm hasn't died. Dies once, dies again, no buyback, and the game's over. Maybe that can happen. And that's obviously the situation that TNC are trying to force onto Liquid.
Looking like a pretty hard one, though, as Cuckoo, he does have a BKB to prevent that mana burn. Fully defensive BKB, though. And back to the Roche pit, we see Miracle go inside. They know there's no ghosts to fight for TNC. Their damage is not there at all if they try to take it to Liquid right now. Gabby will start poking himself toward the front line, but Gabby's also kind of low on mana. Only 300 on him.
Well, that's the thing. It loses a sent over and the mana's gone.
He's completely out of mana. Miracle's just in. Onto Cuckoo, also burns all of his mana. So 2 heroes on TNC have no spells.
They're just, they can't offer anything to the fight. Mana is burned. They're held outside. Demonic Purge being as well used to keep him outside of the pit. Stolen Arrow will flow through, won't make the connection. Miracle's able to pick up the Aegis. Believe We Are able to grab the cheese. They'll get Roshan Liquid, and now they'll look to try and find some of these kills.
Armel can't run. The Eye of Scotty is too much onto him. The arrow connects onto Miracle. They're trying to disengage on TNC, but they can't run.
Miracle is just running into the 5 of them. An arrow does come out. Gabby pops his BKB again. The mana gone. Gabby has nothing to fight with. They'll continue the chase. Miracle's in onto AU. A false promise having to be used upon himself to get him out of there. They're very tanky, TNC. They don't die easily, but they are also unable to do anything easily at all. These heroes now pretty rendered useless as Miracle's in. He sees a chance to blow up AU with a mana void, and her arrow does come out again. Stolen arrow onto Tims with that extra arcane supremacy debuff increased. He has no chance at all. Gabby's in, and as soon as he's in, the mana is out. Miracle just diving past tier 3 onto the supports, running down AU, jump forward again. It's a triple kill for Miracle. He's just slowly dismantling TNC and slowly doing his best to take them out of the tournament. Very KB popped. He's not going anywhere.
Still no fear. There we go. Now he's gonna give him some respect. Back up. But
he knows. I mean, 12K, 13K lead. There is no answer at all, as it seems, for this anti-mage. They'll set up an arrow.
They got this one here connected. He has
Manta and also has the blink. They won't even be able to touch that Aegis or get near to touching it.
They just have no damage for him at all anymore. He's got the freest game in the world, it seems like, now on this anti-mage, which was the last pick by Liquid, seeming to play around it absolutely perfectly. Just keeping the game split push, 40-minute mark, AM with top net worth by a long shot.
TNC, what are they able to get themselves close to? We are closing in on a Hex from Armel. No, the Bloodthorn's going to be the item that Gabby is trying to get done for the team. So looking for some of that single target lockdown, which may give them some sort of a shot of tackling Miracle.
They needed these quite a while ago, right? The Hex or the Abyssal Blade, some type of instant type of disable to look for Miracle to catch him when he was doing this, but I mean, he's just at way too much of critical mass here. This anti-mage.
Seemingly the perfect pick. Really, and you could definitely see and understand what TNC went for. We heard it from Heen. They wanted to play this pace. And this is what's sort of the risk of running this sort of lineup here on the main stage. If you are unable to get the job done by a certain point, things just grind to a complete stop for your lineup.
Yeah, and you really are starting to understand why they went for the Underlord as well, right? Just to constantly split push the side lanes out. That's what we've seen that hero used for quite a while. Defend towers and then just park yourself, just push out lanes constantly and just get it onto the other side of the map. And that's been the name of the game for Liquid. Push lanes. I know Will is probably in the back like, shove lanes, yes! Like, it really is just the definition of this one entirely for Liquid, just keeping it past the river after that early game. Now they've got a Hex picked up, the blink and the Hex on Armel. See if it can catch Liquid off guard. But they are all grouped together.
I mean, that AM kill will be worth a hefty penny.
As long as they can bring him down. He's 28 armor and, like you said, 70% magic resistance. So can they actually have the damage? With Ghosts, with everything committed, if they can get the chain lockdown, that could be one of the options. But besides without...
They've got to do it twice.
Yeah, without like Death Prophet Ghost, it seems pretty unlikely. It's Miracle taking 0 damage from that Purifying Flames. And they're just going to get the push going.
He's just hitting the racks.
Yep. Ghosts are popped. The Hex, it gets Lotus Orb.
It does. He's going to self-pig himself, arm out.
And oh, GH even stealing Exorcism as well in the back lines. He did.
Oh, he did.
Miracle, gonna get stunned up a little bit, but he's just keeping himself shown there for a second, then backs off. But that's what we see. The Ghosts, they have the damage, but can they actually get the catch? As Miracle keeps blinking away. GH has his Ghosts ready to use. He also has the Refresher Shard on Ruby.
Oh, okay. Double Exorcism.
If only they stacked.
Indeed, but just having the duration to be able to push with Miracle again, more than enough time to blink out and away from them. Armel starting to fall low.
Just to the illusions.
He'll get himself a little bit of heal, well, a lot of bit of heal from those Ghosts returning in. False Promise being used by AU to try and get him out back to safety. Weeha, he's just running straight into the midst of them all with a BKB popped up towards the base.
Stun AU.
Forcing the 5 of them back towards their tier 4. They'll turn, they'll look for Weeha.
GH has the Ravage.
Weeha does fall. They're able to kill the Lash. Anti-Mage on the high ground on top of Armel. Hadn't quite finished his above this BKB's finished. GH put the Refresher Shard force. He's up to the high ground and has that Ravage ready to play with. Armel is dead without buyback. AU's dead as well. GH is in. Stolen Ravage out onto the 3 of them. They'll lift up the Bristleback, slam him back down. Gabby's out of the game. Miracle's moving in. There'll be a buyback from Gabby. Miracle held back by the Eels, but we are just runs down Tim's. Tim's dead for nearly 2 minutes. Liquid cleaning up another set of racks. There is no hold and seemingly no chance for TNC to turn this one round right now. Gabby, the final hurrah as he'll step forward. Mana's burnt out. Miracle finishes him off. Godlike on the anti-mage.
GG.
And there we have it. They'll tap themselves out of this. GG is called. TNC are out of the competition. And Liquid, with this Game 2 victory, will move on 2-0.
What a series from Liquid, bringing it back, making it look like, I mean, the group stages we saw from them, they had some tough times, but these 2 games, it looked like they were pretty much back in form. The last game was some perfect timing with the double BKBs. They make this incredible stuff happen. This time, the split pushing, the shoving of the lanes, just never allowing TNC to do what their draft wanted to do and get that big push going.
I mean, you said it's sort of the start. TI comes around, anti-mage returns. You have to watch out for these games on the main stage. If someone like Kuro sees a dream situation to pick that 10th pick AM, you know that you're in for a very tough game. And TNC, obviously not to be sort of too downhearted from this positioning. They've shown us some fantastic Dota in the run so far, but today just not enough to overcome the power that Liquid were able to bring out today. 9-0-6 Miracles anti-mage. They couldn't run him over in time.
They couldn't, and they even had some nice showcase plays, right? 2GH got to show off a little bit, getting an Exorcism, stoling some Ravages as well. He also had a spectacular game. Seemed like Liquid just had a really good understanding of how they wanted to play this game. They executed it perfectly and didn't allow TNC to do what they wanted to do.
Ladies and gentlemen, a victory for Liquid as they'll move on in the lower bracket, and goodbyes for TNC. Liquid to take the series 2-0.
Thank you very much, ODPixel and Fogged. Indeed, Team Liquid moving forward after a game which seemed like every single one of Liquid's players could make a case of them being the MVP, and that is always a great sign after a match like that. Lacoste, what are your initial thoughts on seeing this form of Liquid?
TNC had a lineup that needed to finish this game pretty quickly. They got the first Roche, but Liquid played extremely well, just split pushing the map, buying time for Anti-Mage to come online. Even after the second Roche, they still didn't want to take the fights. You have like these three, probably the best abilities in the game. Dark Rift, you have Anti-Mage, and you have Lash, who were just split pushing. They had nothing to pierce BKB with, and if they wanted to get a kill, they needed to heavily commit, get one of these big ulti cooldowns, either Ravage, either Exorcism, and then Liquid just was kiting after that.
And it felt like
you couldn't
every
take the
time
fight.
they got one of those kills, right? You look on the other side of the map, and both of the lanes are pushing through. We do have actually a compilation here. We want to take a look at here.
I like it.
Of everything that's going through, provided by our friends.
Yeah.
At the International.
Let's see how that's
Yeah,
gonna
there
look
we
then.
go. So one of the big moments here early on in the game, you can see 19, 20 minutes. Weehaw starts TPing, right? He sees a fight up top, and then he realizes quickly, like, this is the flavor of our game at this point, right? It's leading into quite a bit of split push. So the whole theme of this game is going to be, where are the waves, right? Something that, of course, our boy Blitz always goes on about.
Hello.
Shove those things. Yeah, that's your deal,
Say
right?
that word, Blitz.
Yeah,
Shove
what
the
do
waves,
waves
man.
give you? Like, look at Mind Control here, right? He's dying, but what's he doing?
He's shoving the waves.
He's shoving the waves, he's making space. You guys look at that mini-map. I see some other Radiant heroes up there. Everyone walking all around, making the game easy. In tandem, they take down the tower from Weehaw, and instantly, Miracle is right on the tier 3, right? And this damage comes into play later on, because then they work themselves into a double split right after that, with both Miracle and Weehaw each hitting a separate tier 3. Weehaw up at the top there, you can see the little orange blip on the mini-map, and then Miracle blinking down bottom. So all of these plays coming together for Liquid for them to take this game. That's how the one here had to be played.
It must be so annoying playing against two heroes that are basically shoving all the waves, taking your towers all the time. It's that is a nightmare.
And once again, you're playing against two heroes who have a BKB and split pushing ability, so you got nothing to stop it. They were on timer, and they could not finish the game fast enough.
They could not indeed. And now I know you really want to say stuff, Will, but you can't yet, because at first we want to hear from Weehaw, who's with Casey right now.
Hi, yeah, okay, so we were just kind of catching up. He comes in and he's like, I need some water. I'll kill for some water. I'm like, don't kill anyone. I'll send Nick to go get you some water. Those were some exciting games. We saw a lot of strength in your team. They were just talking about your play, and we also saw Miracle's Anti-Mage, which was amazing. How did all of this come together for you guys in both of these games?
Well, I mean, I know second game I basically just said, like, I was talking to Miracle, it was about last pick, and I just told me just pick something to carry me. That's pretty much it. And he did, yeah. He lived up. I'm really happy, you know, like, I'm really happy when I see, like, I have such teammates. It's just a good feeling.
It feels like a common thread that we see from the people that we interview after wins is one of the first things that players say is the importance of trust in other teammates. Are you feeling that that's developed pretty quickly for you since you joined the team only recently?
I mean, look at who I'm playing with, honestly. Like, I've been, let's say I've already had the trust the moment I joined the team, because I respect these players for a very long time, you know. Even like GH, I've played with him a long time ago for a while. It's fun. It is fun, Dota.
You can tell you're having fun too. Like you're just really embracing the moment. And I think what's so cool, you mentioned respect and all these great players that you get to play with. I don't know if you got a chance to hear Tim's interview. We were talking to him with TNC, and we asked him, who's the team that you would most like to face? And he said, oh, Liquid. Would love to get the chance. And it came from a source of pride and respect. How does it feel to hear that? And you combine that with being able to play in China, and all the fans here obviously have mutual respect for you guys as well.
I mean, it's a good feeling, you know, when teams want to play against you. It means like you actually are doing something good. You're doing something correct. And you're getting respect for it, which is nice. And they did beat us. Like, we played them, and they beat us. And this time it was just a different story. I'm here in China too. Like, it's good memories here from my 21st birthday. And it just feels nice.
What? Your 21st birthday?
It was here on Shanghai Major Grand Final Day.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so some good luck.
Yeah,
How else did you celebrate your birthday?
I'm not going to talk about it.
A wise man. Thought maybe I could get you. Well, congratulations. Thanks for giving us some amazing games to watch, and we look forward to seeing more from you. And do you have any thoughts on seeing, I believe RNG might be next for you? Did you watch any of their games earlier?
We watched a lot of games. Just play the game.
Yeah, play your game.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right. Thank you so much, Weha. Appreciate it. Congrats. Back to you guys.
Yeah, thank you so much indeed, Weha and Casey. And they played their game, and they played it really well. And if you compare this Liquid, Will, to the Liquid we saw in group stages, is that a very different sight for you?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Because I feel like the biggest thing was that Miracle is just lacking. In the group stage, I think people unequivocally agree he just looked really human. And I'm not really used to seeing that kind of Miracle where he's missing spells. It doesn't really feel like he's getting farm on the map. He's not really pressing buttons the same way. It feels like this Miracle, like okay, he's going to carry us regardless of what happens in the late game Miracle, finally showed up.
He definitely did. Unfortunately, when there's a winner, there is also a loser. In this case, TNC eliminated. And Rich is with Armel right now.
Yeah, I am here with Armel after an incredibly hard-fought series, and especially that last game. Definitely fought till the very end. And I do want to say, you had a very tough opponent right now that is going to spell defeat for you here at TI. What's going through your mind right now?
I mean, I kinda don't know. I mean, I'm not in shock. I'm just lost right now. Yeah.
I mean, I can totally understand that emotion, especially after everything that's going on. Huge tournament. I do want to ask you, you have one of the most passionate fan bases in the entire world. What do you want to say to your fans right now?
I think we're sorry because they kind of have expectation for us, and I think we did our best, and this is just the end of it. We just get what we deserve.
I will say, with those fans that have been supporting you, I see the tweets all the time. Is that something that really does push you guys forward, not only at this TI, but in your future, in your Dota career?
Yeah. I mean, what was the...
Sorry, as far as the support that you receive from the fans, is that a big factor in the success that you guys have found?
Yeah, of course, for sure. I mean, they help us a lot, and they boost our confidence going to this tournament. Yeah.
I do want to say, fantastic year. You guys did very well. It was exciting to get to watch you play. We're going to throw it back up to the desk.
Yes, thank you so much. A tough story indeed for TNC, who came in here with high expectations. They they went into the upper bracket, showed up everybody, and then they come to the main stage and they had such a close series to Vici Gaming Lacoste, and then it felt like today just wasn't their day.
It's one of those moments where you know you can beat the team, but you actually end up not doing so, and there's a lot at stake here. I mean, it's not just about the money, as Bled said, it's about the pride. Like, you want to show to the world that you're the best.
Yeah, that is what this tournament is all about. And today was another day filled with matches, all for that one goal, to find out who is the best. And in case you missed any of it, we have something to just, relive the moments of today.
Again here as the Stomp, it puts all of Newbie to sleep under the Tier 4 towers. The Soulbind tries to connect. Now there she got anything. Can they kill Anna once again with the Soul Assumption? He's just tanking through all of this with the one charges. Thompson stacking everybody up as well with the coil sprays. They can get back to base, but even that's not safe. One more spray, maybe Snaking will die. Thompson waiting under the tower. He's just tanking through all of it. A triple kill for Thompson. Nowhere is safe. What a veil. Nothing is really going here in Thompson. He's the man that's going into the fountain once again. Bathe in the glory of the Radiant. Thompson, he just does not give a crap. Anna will give all the life. This is just fountain farming. Gee, you got it. This is soul breaking. Anna runs forward, can't get the Inkswell stun out, but you'll have the Omniside.
Oh my,
Together you are! Together you stand, together you die, and together you GG! Newbie are out, OG have knocked them down to the lower bracket.
Good bit of damage. Is it going to be quite enough though? EMP draining all of
Invoke
mana.
in 1 second.
Chase4 needs it again. It's going to be enough to save him. Invoker at the last second fly, trying to make it work, needs another Shadow Poison out, and mid one with that quas is regenning through it all. Secret salvage.
All right,
Absolute disaster.
I'm just saying XP streak.
Epicenter for Staff, trying to keep them all survivable. The turnaround, Arteezy almost able to get brought down, but not quite there. Disruption save yet again. They're all super low on EG and they need to run, but Sumail looking to finish this one off possibly as they chase forward for more. They find another kill. Oh! 2 minutes! They did it to him! EG! No, I believe it! Secret! And they're making it happen!
The Satanic, it was on cooldown, and he still managed to find that last crit!
Oh, they chase forward, and Evil Genius is now gonna hit the tier 3 towers. They turn forward onto the tier 4.
They're running.
Do you believe in miracles, ladies and gentlemen? EG did it.
Marching towards the tier 4s with the initiation coming out from Ramsey with the avalanche over the top, the Canic offering as well. They get the fatal blunts on top of that, but the time block allows Monet to stand strong. He's got their Chronosphere on top with the Gyrocopter as well. Half health, but no one laying out the flag cannon damage. Is it going to be enough? No, he gets first down. They're so tanky. It's not RNG taking through everything. 3-10 on the side of Furnace Pro.
Turn quickly, looking to burst him down the first, and in fact he's out of mana. He's dead without a chance to reincarnate. They burn his mana, they burn his life. Ravage is out from mind control. They're all dying again on TNC as Liquid will push Armel back to the base, and GG is called. This game was over at least about 5 minutes ago. They tried for one last shot. It's the main.
Nice. That was fucking nice.